you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, good morning on this Monday morning. Growing fears that the Prime Minister's days are numbered.
As backbench MPs threaten to revolt over the Lord Mandelson scandal.
But with President Trump's state visit imminent, can Keir Starmer use it to save his leadership?
The first Channel migrants are set to be returned to France today under Sir Keir Starmer's one-in, one-out deal. But could an 11th-hour legal intervention throw a spanner in the works?
Are we living through a golden age for nuclear? The UK and US agree a landmark deal to fast-track a new generation of small nuclear power stations.
Calls for schools to teach pupils about the Battle of Britain. 85 years on, and a shocking new poll reveals 2 in 3 under 40s don't even know what it is.
And the Emmy Awards lit up Los Angeles last night, celebrating the best of television. Find out which British teenager made history.
Yes, the buzz surrounding Netflix's Adolescence is back as the drama picked up 6 awards last night. I'll have all the latest from LA later in the show.
And as a couple makes headlines by bringing a card machine to their wedding for guests to contribute to their honeymoon fund, we're asking if requesting cold hard cash as a gift on the big day is tacky.
That's outrageous. In sport this morning, Manchester City got back on track yesterday with a 3-0 win over their neighbours United, while Liverpool beat Burnley with a very, very, very late penalties. And the boxing world continues to pay tribute to one of the greatest British fighters of all time, Ricky Hatton.
Well, it's a windy start to the new working week, especially across England and Wales, where there is a Met Office warning in force. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Questionable. Hello there, very good morning. Good to see you. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
just nonsense that kids today, they don't know anything about the Battle of Britain. So many of them just haven't heard of it. Would that help? Now, personally, that would have lit me up. I'm so interested in the Second World War.
Yeah,
that would have been... So you would be too?
Yeah, I'm fascinated about the Second World War. Yeah.
Well, that's good, but not taught it in school.
Very little.
No, we
very little.
Taught nothing. We taught nothing, but didn't exist.
We taught about the Tudors and things like that.
Yes.
Nothing more recent.
We did a bit.
Paul?
We did a little bit.
No, we didn't do anything.
On World War II. Well, it was probably because it was going on then, though, wasn't it? I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
but it is fascinating. I mean, the strategy, everything involved in it at that stage. I think that's such an important part of history for this country.
Absolutely.
I think people should be taught that.
Yeah, especially because we're now losing that great generation, aren't we? Unfortunately,
Yeah.
and we won't have the verbal testimony that we might have had from our grandparents. So I think it's really important that it's taught in schools. And can you believe 2 and 3 under 40s don't even know what it is? I was shocked by that this morning.
Shocked. Anyway.
Awful. How are you feeling, Coity, this morning?
Oh.
He's upset.
I'm OK. No, I'm OK. Do you remember we did this last year when my daughter went to university and I was, like, bereft for 6 months? So now it's happened again.
He's done the drop-off and he's...
I know, so now I've taken her up to Manchester.
It's the same daughter going to...
Same daughter. I was OK with that one, but then my son is going to be next week in Sheffield, so...
Oh,
it's not easy, is it?
And then it's empty nest?
It's empty nest, yeah.
How are you feeling?
Not... What are you... You're trying to turn this... I see you're turning the knife, aren't you? You just want me to cry.
I'm a bit worried, I'm not going to lie, but you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
I'm OK, but I'm finding it a little tricky.
We'll look after you.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
keep you distracted the next few weeks, won't we,
Thank you.
Eamonn?
I need people to look after.
We'll do our best. Top story this morning, the Prime Minister said to be clinging on to his premiership following the Lord Mandelson scandal.
Yes, Sir Keir Starmer is reportedly pinning all of his hopes on Donald Trump's state visit going off without a hitch.
Well, the American president is set to arrive tomorrow, and he could provide just the distraction the Prime Minister needs to ward off the threat of a backbench rebellion.
Well, let's speak to writer and journalist James Rampton, who joins us in the studio. Morning to you, James.
Hi.
It could be just the distraction the Prime Minister needs right now.
Well, yes, although the danger is pinning anything on Donald Trump is risky because you never know what he's going to say. Although we're reading this morning that there is going to be a big new deal that they're announcing between the UK and the US on a new generation of nuclear power stations, and that is going to be very positive for the economy. But Keir Starmer needs all the positive news that he can get at the moment.
But that nuclear deal has just come out of nowhere. So is this Starmer and Trump meet, and Trump sits and tells him, I think I want the Chagos Islands, you're going to buy that back, yeah, and also you're going to make this deal with us on a nuclear situation. Yes, Mr. Trump, yes, whatever you say. I mean, we weren't in the market for a number of small nuclear power stations until about 2 weeks ago.
Well, until perhaps you might say the last Labour scandal. That's too cynical an approach, perhaps. It may have been discussed behind the scenes for months. We don't know that. However, it's certainly true that Starmer is in desperate need of good news. The past 2 weeks have been cataclysmically bad for him. They have unleashed a torrent of unease on his own backbenches. We're reading about Mainstream, a new organisation that's been set up, obviously agitating for a change of leader. Andy Burnham is apparently on manoeuvres. He may well criticise Sir Keir Starmer at the Labour Party conference, which would be a rather unprecedented thing to do, but would certainly nail his colours to the mast. And there are lots of Rebel MPs saying they want to get Burnham into a safe seat at the next by-election so he can challenge Starmer for the leadership.
Does this whole scandal feel like a death knell for the Prime Minister?
Well, that's very interesting you use that phrase, Ellie, because that is one of the phrases that the MPs have been using. They're saying he's in the last chance saloon. The Mandelson scandal, they're saying, is a death knell. There are more questions about when Sir Keir knew the full details of the scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein. So there are lots of unanswered questions still about that. And Alistair Campbell used to say, if a scandal goes on for 8 days, then someone will have to resign. He needs to change the narrative, the Prime Minister, or he's going to get really, really bogged down.
Andy Burnham's changing the narrative. I mean, to be so high profile so early in Starmer's premiership, I think is quite interesting.
It is very interesting, Eamonn, because it was only just a year ago that Sir Keir Starmer won a landslide, and everyone said, you know, in the famous words of Tony Blair, a new day has dawned, has it not? You know, everyone thought that this was a new start after the Tory sleaze and scandals, but unfortunately Starmer seems to have fallen into the same trap. He seems to be politically tone-deaf, which is a fatal trait when you're Prime Minister. You have to be able to read the room, and it seems to me that he's got a tin ear and he's slightly wonky in his eyesight. He cannot tell what's going on politically, and that to me is disastrous. He botched the sacking of Angela Rayner, he botched the sacking of Peter Mandelson, and those are the things where you think a really confident, politically astute PM would have got ahead of the game and really settled those issues before they became toxic for him. But now it's a bit late because they really are toxic for him.
And they're obviously obvious, you know, to our friend from Manchester who's looking there and he's saying, I can see where this is wrong and I can see how I can put this right in 3 or 4 years' time.
Yeah, there are many who say he's like the prince across the water. He missed out on a leadership campaign a few years ago, and he feels like he's the leader that they should have had or could have had. He's also got a really relatable side to him. People say he's got a northern sense of authenticity that obviously, you know, no through fault of his own. Starmer's from the south. He's got a sort of Islington lawyer image, which may or may not be fair, but that is the image that's attached to him. So Burnham seems more in touch with traditional Labour voters, and that's why he's appealing to people. He looks like the sort of elemental essence of Labour in a way that Starmer perhaps never have. They've never fallen in love with him, whereas I think they might do with Andy Burnham.
Looking ahead to the state visit this week, I mean, we're currently in a situation where we don't have a British ambassador to the US in post, and the Foreign Secretary has only been in her job, what, a week?
Yeah.
2 weeks by the time the state visit comes around. How do you think this is going to affect the trip, and how do you think President Trump will be feeling about all of this?
Well, I think he may well be uncomfortable, particularly as he has been associated with Epstein in the past himself, and that is the reason why Mandelson was defenestrated. So I think Starmer will again, I understand he's going to make a speech today about Mandelson to try and get it off the books before Trump arrives. He doesn't want, in one of those freewheeling press conferences, journalists to be shouting out questions to Trump about Epstein, because Trump gets really, really livid when that happens, and he may turn against the UK. He's so volatile. You never know how he'll react. So Starmer, quite wisely, is saying we've got to get ahead of this and try and get that off the agenda by the time we have the first press conference with Trump, or it could really derail it. He's so thin-skinned, Trump, and he's liable to react against us if it comes up.
That's a really good point, actually. That could potentially be really awkward for the Prime Minister.
Very awkward, because he's shilly-shallied, and it's one of the only issues on which the MAG movement has turned against him, because he promised beforehand that he would release all the documents, and his Attorney General said, yeah, they're on my desk. They weren't, as it turned out, and when they did release them, there were no bombshells in there, the so-called Epstein files. So it's a scandal that seems to haunt Trump, and he's very, very touchy about it. So Starmer will not want any questions about that emerging when he's trying to bathe in the reflected glory, as Trump might see it, of the arrival of the US president.
James, come back and talk to us again. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. Now, with Donald and Melania Trump landing in Britain tomorrow, the state visit begins on Wednesday, of course, and the rumours are that the Prime Minister is banking on this visit going well to quell talk of the backbench revolt we were referring to.
But what else can we expect from the state visit, and how is Downing Street and the royal family planning on wooing the Trumps?
OK, let's go to foreign correspondent Sarah Firth on this one. Sarah, good morning to you. Love to hear your take on this. What do you think this means? We've talked about what this means for Keir Starmer. Does it mean anything for Donald Trump?
Good morning, Eamonn and Ellie. Yes, well, President Trump, look, he's known for absolutely loving the pomp and pageantry that surrounds the royal family. So we know when Keir Starmer was over here in Washington and presented President Trump with that second state visit invitation from King Charles himself. It went down extremely well. It was a smooth diplomatic move from Keir Starmer at the time. And they're expecting that Trump is going to be given the royal charm offensive here. I think the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, is probably going to be banking on King Charles. With that greeting, you know, you've got flypasts that have been ordered. You've got carriage rides expected. You've got a visit around Windsor Castle. You've got the Prince and Princess of Wales greeting him. You've got a lavish state banquet. And that they're hoping will smooth the way for what could potentially be a bit of an awkward conversation at Chequers with the Prime Minister. They'll be discussing some of those issues around tariffs with the UK, potentially Ukraine, and of course, as your previous guest and you guys were discussing there, very, very embarrassing and thorny issue of Epstein and the fallout from that with Mandelson being fired. So I think the Prime Minister's certainly got a lot riding on this. President Trump has had a very rocky week or so, to put it mildly. I think it's going to be a nice break for him, frankly, across the Atlantic.
Unless those journalist questions become too obvious about Epstein, as James Rampton was pointing out. What can the Prime Minister do to rein that whole aspect in?
Well, I mean, Eamonn, I don't know about you guys, but I think there probably is going to be a few awkward questions that are going to get asked during that visit. It was unfortunate timing, the way everything played out. You've seen Prime Minister Keir Starmer get, a huge amount of heat for his handling of the whole situation. And really, it's embarrassing for President Trump as well. It's a scandal that he wants desperately to distance himself from. You know, it hasn't played out well here in the United States. But given the context at the time that this is happening in, given everything that's been playing out here in the United States, maybe you're going to get a little bit of a gentler welcome for President Trump. And maybe that pomp and pageantry of the occasion will smooth the way enough that they're going to be able to have that conversation and that will all go smoothly. But I'm sure there will be either a few awkward moments, or look, guys, it's President Trump, so there's always some kind of statement that's unexpected. It's really hard to predict how these things will go with him.
And Sarah, after the historic state visit, President Trump will be flying back to the US because we've been hearing about the arrangements for Charlie Kirk's funeral.
Yes, that's now had the date set for the 21st of September. It will be taking place in Arizona. The country here is still reeling from what happened with that. We know that Tyler Robinson, the suspect, he is now in Utah County Jail. Actually, as President Trump goes to the UK on Tuesday, that's the day that we're expecting to hear from the prosecution, those prosecuting this offence. They are going to be filing those official charges, and we'll get a little bit more detail because there's a lot of speculation at the moment over a possible note that the suspect left, over a possible roommate that was transitioning from male to female. But the country really grieving right now, President Trump himself grieving. We know he's going to be posthumously awarding Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's like the highest honor that you can give a civilian here in the US. So he's going to come from that second state visit in the UK and be straight back into these very, very sad circumstances that are playing out in the country at the moment.
Firth there for us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Looking ahead, more American news. The Emmy Awards in Los Angeles last night. They're coming up very, very shortly. But first, we're going to bring you the weather update. We say hello, good morning, and welcome to Catherine Chalk.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to a GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
So, as I was saying just before the weather, please do stay tuned for the Emmy Awards because it was held in a place called the Peacock Theatre in Los Angeles last night.
Celebrating the very best of television. We're going to find out which British teenager made history at the awards ceremony last night next.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Before we talk about the Emmys, it's going to point you in the direction of the Great British Giveaway, which is a very good charitable thing for us to do. You could be your best friends for doing this, because this is what?
The biggest prize package we've ever given away. It's worth over £104,000. You get a brand new motorhome worth, what is it, about 70 grand? 75 grand. Then you get £30,000 in tax-free cash as well. Here's Hayley Sparks with all the details.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof light, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, let's head to Los Angeles, where the 77th Emmy Awards took place overnight.
OK. Netflix psychological drama Adolescence took 6 trophies. And Owen Cooper, who played a teenager accused of murder, made history by becoming the youngest ever male Emmy winner. Alex Davis in the studio for us this morning with his analysis of it. Alex.
Yes, a great night for Adolescence. It didn't just win for Owen Cooper. Like you said there, 15 years old he is. He's the youngest ever male winner of an award at the Emmys. He was the best supporting actor in a limited series. It also won Best Limited Series as a whole. It won Best Leading Actor for Stephen Graham.
He was very good.
He was brilliant. It won Best Writing for a limited drama for Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham. It won Best Directing. The directing, of course, with this series is every episode was done in one shot. So there was no breaks, no editing, no cuts. It was all done in one shot each episode.
I found that a bit strange, actually, when I watched it.
Each episode, it meant that there was quite a few lulls in each episode, which I think some people found it quite hard to watch and found it quite boring and quite slow. But clearly the Academy didn't think so, with 6 awards for it. There was even a shock. Stephen Graham wasn't really tipped to win his category. Everybody thought that that was going to go to Colin Farrell, who plays the Penguin, the Batman villain in the own spin-off series. So that was a bit of a shock.
Colin Farrell, nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Aww. He always seems like the nicest guy. I've never had the pleasure of interviewing him, but he did a marathon last year, I think, for his brother.
He did, in aid of a young girl from Dublin.
Or was it a girl, was it? Yeah, and he just seemed like the nicest, down-to-earth guy. Yeah. And he's been very open about his, problems with addiction and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, I remember interviewing him. I've only interviewed him once, and he had a drink problem then. He was quite fond of the drink, and I interviewed him, 7 o'clock in the morning, and he was he was under the influence, I would have said.
But he completely turned his life around, and there's
completely.
There's a lovely thing. I remember, this is completely on a tangent, but when he first started working with Brendan Gleeson on In Bruges,
yes,
Brendan Gleeson went up to him and said, "Do you want to?"
film.
In Bruges is a fantastic film.
It's a great scene in Bruges.
And he said, "Can I get you a drink?" And Colin Farrell was worried, and Brendan Gleeson had done his research and said still or sparkling, and got him a water. And he said from that moment those two were like best buds.
Yeah.
So you know, he seems like a nice guy, but he was very heavily tipped to win an Emmy last night, but it didn't come to fruition.
Okay.
But he wasn't the only one to.
His transformation, though, as the Penguin, you just wouldn't recognise.
Well, this is the thing. I remember watching the main Batman with Robert Pattinson, the film.
Yeah.
And you're blown away. Unless you know it's Colin Farrell, you don't know it's Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
So that was why everybody thought he would win Best Actor in that category. But no, it went to Stephen Graham. The Academy were very, very swept up in Adolescence last night.
And who else, or what else would have won?
The Studio, which is an Apple series, that's with Seth Rogen. That's about a record label producer battling with the corporate bosses about profit making and actually wanting to make quality content. Some of those things. Severance, have you heard of that one? The Apple TV one. That's about sort of another psychological mind-bending series about a workplace where people's minds are basically cut off from when they leave the workplace to when they go into a workplace, and there's lots of mind-bending storylines in there. But the big story was Owen Cooper. Like we said, he's 15 years old. He had a really lovely speech, which I think we can hear a bit of here.
Standing up here is just, wow, it's just so surreal. Honestly, when I started these drama classes a couple of years back, I didn't expect to be even in the United States, never mind here. But I think tonight proves that if you listen and you focus and you step out your comfort zone, you can achieve anything in life. Like I was nothing about 3 years ago. I'm here now.
He looks like he's wearing a school uniform there.
He's going back to school this week. He's only 15. He was 14 when he filmed it.
And he's only been acting, what, 2 years?
That was his first role. Wow. Adolescence was his first role, and now he's got a role in the new Wuthering Heights film with Margot Robbie, which is coming out soon. So he's not done too badly for his first couple of roles.
He's set now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was brilliant in the show as well. So he deserves all the accolades.
You see, Margot Robbie is a star. There's someone you look at and she just radiates stardom.
I love Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people you think, you take them or leave them, but you just look at Margot Robbie and you think, she's a star.
She's another one who seems incredibly down-to-earth, considering her stock in Hollywood as well. Every interview I've ever seen of her, she seems like a really nice person.
Well, I saw an interview with her on Friday night with, what's the friend we just mentioned there?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. In Ireland.
Yeah, they got a new film coming out together.
Yeah. So there was the dream interview.
Well, there you go, yeah.
Two favourites.
Missed that one.
Yeah, very good. Alex, come back and talk to us in an hour's time. We'll talk about more people and the red carpet and all that sort of thing as well. Thank you very much indeed.
Now, it's just coming up to 6:30. It's time now for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, my name is Marjorie and I'm a Baptist minister in Sheffield. The parable of the Good Samaritan is well known in our culture and is often seen as an example story. This is what it means to be a good person. The Good Samaritan wouldn't pass by an injured man without helping him to recover and paying for his care out of his own pocket. The Good Samaritan has captured our imaginations for over 2,000 years. But is the meaning to be nice to people, or to be a religious do-gooder and do more for others? Or is there a deeper meaning that we are actually in danger of missing? Who is the Good Samaritan in the story? In the story, people in positions of worldly power pass by the innocent traveller, injured on the road, but one man stops to help. We like to see ourselves in that story and think that we might be the Good Samaritan. But what if the Good Samaritan was actually God? What if we were the victim, the helpless, the vulnerable, the person in need of compassion and love and kindness? Life can give you hard knocks, and life can really hurt. People can pass you by and culture can cancel you. Jesus says, if you feel powerless today, we have a God who sees, who stops, and who loves. In our traumatized world, it is a powerful picture that no one is beyond his love.
News this morning, and if you are travelling, whatever you're doing today, here's the way the roads look.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M6 near junction 14 southbound, an accident leads to heavy delays as all lanes are closed. Drivers on the A13 eastbound at Thurrock may encounter disruptions due to a collision with one of 2 lanes blocked. In Kent, the M25 clockwise entry slip at junction 3 is completely shut because of a road crash. Expect normal conditions to return by 9:40 this morning. And on the trains, cross-country services are disrupted between Nuneaton and Hinckley. Northern has bus replacements between Corkickle and Whitehaven, as well as a reduced service between Colne and Blackpool South. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
And just to say, up next, the boxing world continuing to pay tributes to one of the greatest British fighters of all time, Ricky Hatton, who died yesterday. We'll be joined by boxing commentator John Rawling right after this.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here.
I'm Michelle June, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
So much sport. Busy day yesterday with football. The least said about that, the better. And the big news over the weekend and yesterday afternoon was to hear that Ricky Hatton had passed away. Just unbelievable.
It really is. At the age of 46. I mean, Ricky the Hitman, and what a great fighter he was. But there was a brilliant documentary that was on. I don't know if you saw it. It was on a couple of years ago. That was made all about Ricky Hatton, and you see why he was the people's champion, the fact that he grew up in Manchester, and he was, you know what he was? He was an ordinary man with extraordinary talent, I think is probably the best way I could describe him, because he stayed very normal, very grounded, and that's why everybody loved him so much. Yeah. He ended up fighting in Vegas. He had thousands of people, like tens of thousands of fans, followed him back over there to see him fight for the world title over there. It was when he fought Kostya Tszyu in Manchester back in 2005, when he won the first one.
He's a lad with a great sense of humour. He was friendly, he was funny.
Yeah, he was, but also there were some real sad things that happened to him in his life. He fell out, I mean, a real family man, but fell out with his parents because his father ended up managing him. And it's when that horrible money thing comes up. We've seen it so many things, not just in sport, but in so many success stories. Money is the thing that seems to divide so many people, and there was a problem with money. And also that happened with his trainer as well, because his trainer was a huge influence on him, and that was and that soured. Then he lost his trainer because that was all down to money. So there were problems there. He fought brilliantly. He defended the title so many times, then came back, and then when he actually fought over in Vegas, then he had two big fights, one against Floyd Mayweather, one against Manny Pacquiao, lost both of those fights, and it's what then happens to someone that has so much success, and then they have to live their life after that, and it's very difficult to go back to the highs when you have such highs. Then those are going to be just as bad.
We hope to be talking to boxing commentator John Rawling. Is John available? No, I haven't got John yet because some technical problems there with that. Let's talk about the two big games yesterday. Liverpool, Burnley. Burnley gave away a penalty in the 97th minute.
Did you know that Liverpool are the first team ever to win 4 matches in a row with winners in the last 10 minutes?
Well, this is why I think they'll win the title again.
Because there's always something to be said for that. United used to do it. You know, all great teams score late, and you think,
and you
so
also
lucky.
But you need luck. You need luck to win.
Yes, but there's also that we will keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going right to the end. Whereas probably teams that are playing against them that seem to lose those games, it's like, oh, we've just about made it now. We've just about made it now. But then it was a penalty right in the 95th minute.
But the way Mo Salah took the penalty as well, I mean, just vicious. He hit that, no airs graces about it, just absolutely beautiful.
He's missed a few as well.
Yeah, but
he's missed a few. And also the other thing is that he was pretty much anonymous for most of the games. You didn't see much of him, but that's another thing about great players. You don't see anything, and then...
And nobody would have saved that penalty.
That's what they say about me, because usually around 8:30, I'm better than I am in 6:30, because I'm anonymous, and then all of a sudden the 8:30 bulletin is the best one.
And just a quick word about City United. I don't really know what to say except...
I thought of you.
I know, that's what's on your mind, I can see.
But except to say, I would have been a big defender of the manager at Manchester United, but I think we're now getting to the stage where his position is going to be hard to defend. That is the worst record of a manager of Manchester United since the Second World War.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And he says that he's not going to change the way he plays. We're going to stick with it, because there's got to be a point when a manager, especially someone like him, is just thinking, I don't understand why this doesn't work, but it just isn't. Is it now a poison chalice? Is that what it is?
You just can't take players like Mainu and say, well, he's no use to me because he's not going to play the system.
I agree.
He's not going to fit my system, therefore get rid of him. How many players is he going to get rid of? Is he going to sacrifice just so he can set up a system?
And at what point do Manchester United say, enough is enough? Or at what point does he actually think, you know what, I've got to change what I'm doing because it just ain't working?
Okay,
tough times.
Folks, let us know your views on that, how you think it is going to go. We're going to take a break. We're going to be back with the newspapers, Battle of Britain Day, and a new poll has revealed, I think this is absolutely shocking, that 8 out of 10 under 40s have no idea what the Battle of Britain is, or indeed who won it. Don Neeson, Christopher Biggins. Biggins was there during the Second World War for the whole thing, I'm pretty sure.
It was the home front. It was the Dad's Army, I think he was part of.
Could have been anyway. Back with that after this.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, well there's plenty of sunshine across Europe. There are a few showers around, but otherwise it's feeling very warm out there, a bit breezy across parts of Madeira and the Canary Islands, but across much of Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, lengthy sunny skies, and across Greece as well, not doing too bad. There are just a few showers towards the north of that, but otherwise a lot of sunshine on offer, temperatures up to 34 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
So I spent probably the best part of a year genning up on the world of self-publishing, making sure that I knew all the ropes, and then, but I mean, hand on heart, I really thought when I first published it that I'd probably sell about 30 copies and continue my day job. So it was a shock when it started to sell as well as it did.
The day job was being a school teacher, but you had a background as a script writer, a screenwriter, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'd spent a long time working in TV as a script editor and then writing on series for the BBC and Holby and EastEnders and The Bell. And then thought I'd change tact, go and be a secondary school teacher for a while, and just, I suppose, write a book and see what happened. And that was 5 years ago, and sort of haven't looked back since.
Well, just before we get to that, had you tried to go the normal route through an agent to a publisher?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first port of call, having worked a little bit in the business, was to bang on the doors of publishers and agents. And I just got a lot of polite no's. And I guess then I came across an article about self-publishing and thought, well, this is probably my last chance. So why not publish it and see let the readers decide whether they want to read my books. And yeah, luckily for me, they did.
Tell me a little bit about the agent system. I mean, for regular publishing or physical books, you pretty much have to go through an agent, don't you? And they have somewhat limited capacity. Is that not so?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you need a literary agent to represent you before you can even really knock on the door of a publisher with their help to try and get your book launched.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. Going through the newspaper front pages this morning, The Telegraph reports that Labour rebels are backing Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham to replace the Prime Minister.
Similar story fronts the Mail. It declares Labour's internal crisis has deepened.
The Times looks ahead to Donald Trump's state visit this week with reports the Prime Minister is hoping to use it to steady the ship.
Sun dedicates its front pages to Ricky Hatton after he died at the age of 46. And we'll have more on that throughout the morning. Christopher Biggins this morning and Don Neeson to go through those papers and give us their take on what's there.
Yeah, Dawn, let's start with you, shall we? The Telegraph and Starmer saying, I won't surrender the flag to violence.
Yes, good morning to you both. Starmer, I won't surrender the flag to violence. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take moral direction from a man who thinks Peter Mandelson, best mates with a convicted paedophile.
But what violence was there with the flag?
Well, there were.
Again?
Well, the thing is, this is obviously the Unite the Kingdom march, which took place on Saturday in London. There were 25 arrests. Estimates that the number of people actually attending range from 120,000, which is the official Metropolitan Police figure, but people on the ground there, including people that came onto the shows over the weekend, were saying it was at least 3 times that. So, given the amount of people there were 25 arrests for violence. And we don't even know which side they were on because there was also a counter-march.
I thought what was very good with your show yesterday, you had Dougie Beattie on, and Dougie was there. He was reporting on the ground of everything, and Dougie brings the knowledge of policing from Northern Ireland, to it. And, you know, he made some very, very good observations, and he was saying that basically there were police forces from different parts of the country who didn't know the geography of London.
And this is maybe how a flashpoint happened when the two groups got together. So we don't know what actually went on, but Dougie did a sterling job. He was actually on the ground there covering the march for us all day. Unlike a lot of people, I suspect, writing for the newspapers who were just trotting out the same old tired cliches about, a bit like Keir Starmer is in the papers today, about the far right and right-wing violence, and it wasn't. And as Dougie was saying over the weekend, many, many people on this march were just ordinary people, all creeds, all colours, all age groups, and there were families there, and it was just like, it was people who are just sick and tired of having people like Keir Starmer not listening to their concerns and branding them far right if they dare, lift a Union flag or the Cross of St George flag up. It's just outrageous. I'm sorry. So this speech he made...
and a lot older than you would think on a march like that.
Yeah.
You know, people who really care about the country.
Yeah.
People who've lived a life.
Yeah, exactly, and are now worried about what's going to happen to them.
And they're not racist and they're not right-wing, they're just concerned.
Exactly,
lots
concerned.
Of families there as well.
Yes,
lots
there was.
Of families, lots of children. Multi-generational.
Yeah, because how do you know? You know, I think it's. I don't have children. I love children, but I mean, I think it's awful what children are going to encounter.
Yeah. And no one's condoning violence. Of course no one's condoning violence. However, I think when you compare levels of violence on previous marches, like we have seen with the Black Lives Matter march, and even the violence at Notting Hill, 25 out of potentially 300,000 people on this march is a tiny minority.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if they were all on that march. They might have been from the counter-protest.
If you were there, if you've got a view on this one, please do have your say. Get in touch with us and we'll reflect that. Biggins, Prince Harry, right? He's revealed that he wants to spend more time in the UK and says that his focus now has to be on his father. I think this is very interesting. This is all about the Duke of Sussex and not about his wife.
Well, she's not been mentioned at all.
No.
And I think you're right, it is very interesting. And then another article I read...
I just wonder, is there a divorce brewing there?
I wonder, because also he said to some friends of him
for nothing. It's like she's not been mentioned at all until now.
No, but there are some.
Do you not think that she is an obvious omission, and it is now suddenly all about him? America is about her. And the UK is about him.
To be honest with you, Eamonn, I've never seen... Sorry for jumping in on your story, Biggins, but I've never seen Harry look as happy as when he was in Ukraine, when he went to Kyiv.
Harry.
The old Harry. He really felt like he was doing what he was meant to do. The royal duties, almost. He's not made to be making jam in a kitchen in Montecito.
I bet he misses it. And I bet coming home he thinks, I really miss this life.
Well, he said apparently to some friends of his in England when he was over that this is where I want to bring up my children and have them educated. And I think that is one big thing he will probably do.
Well, I wonder how his wife would feel about that.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, the wife that nobody mentions. By the way, it is his 41st birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Prince Harry, if you're watching.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But I think he did a great job. And I'm so pleased he did have that 50 minutes with his father.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think Eamonn's right. I mean, how do you balance it out? If one of you is going to be happier in the UK and the other one's happier in America?
Do you think now it's too little too late, though, saying the focus is on my father?
Yes.
I mean, his father's been so unwell.
Yeah.
Seen each other in, what, 18 months?
18 months.
Yeah, I mean, but we don't know whether he has tried to communicate with his father over that 18 months. Anyway, it's very sad. Nobody likes to see a family in torment.
Here's front page of the Telegraph is interesting today. Because they lead with police in London should be armed with handguns to protect them from knife attacks. This is a confidential Scotland Yard review, and it's recommended this. Now, this is the interesting thing about this. The people who are against this will end up being the police. I do smile at this, laugh at this. I don't know, I'm very cynical about this. I've got a whole police force in Northern Ireland, a whole police force, and every one of them are armed. Every one of them are armed. And we don't have, you know, all this killing going on in the streets as a result of this. So what are they frightened of?
The UK tradition of policing has been by consent, hasn't it? You know, they don't do it by fear. They work with us rather than against us. That is the principle. However, I think when you've got the levels of knife crime we see and the levels of violence in this country at the moment, I'm not sure that should be the case anymore. But this internal review was commissioned after Met faced a knife attack in Leicester Square back in 2022. And that's what the thinking was, you know, that the suspect in that case wasn't brought down by tasers or any other method, so a gun was the only way to stop him, and there were police officers injured in that. The question is you have to ask the ordinary police officers on the beat, would they want to carry guns? It puts them in...
Ask them anything, tell them.
Well, I mean...
I just don't understand this. If I was a police officer, I would not want to go on the streets and face people with carrying knives without having a gun. The one contingency I put against that is that if you use a gun in the UK, that's your career over, finished, end off.
This is the problem, Eamonn. You will get dragged through the courts, there will be years and years, your family get put through the mill, you're suspended. It's a horrible... That's why I'm saying it's down to the... And they don't get paid any more either. I mean, at the moment, the armed police in London certainly do not get paid any more than ordinary cops on the beat, and they're putting a lot more into that job. It makes the job more dangerous, and, you know, if you fire your weapon and someone gets hurt or killed, you're the one that's guilty until proven innocent, and that can take years and years and years.
But they should have protection, the police. I mean, it's ridiculous. If I was a policeman, I wouldn't want to go on the streets and get some young idiot come up with a knife and kill me.
No.
I would want to protect myself.
I mean, what's a baton and pepper spray as a defence in those situations?
Well, back to that Leicester Square area, those things didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Only a gun would have stopped that particular criminal.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, let us know what you think on that one. You'll certainly have a view. Biggins, let's have a look at the Pope, shall we? He's had a pop at Musk, very briefly.
Yeah. Well, what he's saying is that to Musk is, how do you feel? I don't think he said it like this, but how do you feel about having so much money and so many people having no money? Which is, of course, is what we all think. I mean, it's so wrong that there are so many people with huge amounts of money and so many people without.
I'm sorry, that is a bit rich coming from the Catholic Church as well.
Well,
one of the richest institutions on earth.
I know, but I mean, I think he lives quite frugally.
He does personally.
You know, and I think that's where his statement's coming from.
I think it makes Musk a Bond villain. I think that's what it does.
I love that.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back again in 40 minutes' time. Let's have a look at the weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west, highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M6 southbound exit slip at junction 14 is closed due to a collision, but repairs should finish soon, resuming traffic flow. Motorists on the M25 clockwise entry slip at junction 3 will face lane closures causing delays. Roads should return to normal between 9:15 and 9:30 this morning. And on the trains, both Cross Country and Great Western Railway report significant disruptions affecting services between Nuneaton, Hinckley, Southampton Central and Portsmouth Harbour. Passengers should plan their journeys accordingly to avoid inconvenience. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's our biggest Great British giveaway to date. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas and has all of the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that any adventures you take in your new motorhome are taken in style. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Growing fears the Prime Minister's days are numbered.
As backbench MPs threaten to revolt over the Lord Mandelson scandal.
But with President Trump's state visit imminent, can the Prime Minister use it to save his leadership?
First Channel migrants are set to be returned to France this week, we're now told, under the one-in, one-out deal. But could an 11th-hour legal intervention throw a spanner in the works?
Are we living through a golden age for nuclear? Well, the UK and the US agree a landmark deal to fast-track a new generation of small nuclear power stations.
Calls for schools to mandatory teach pupils about the Battle of Britain 85 years on, and a shocking new poll reveals that 2 out of 3 under 40s don't even know what it is.
The prime suspect in Madeleine McCann's disappearance is reportedly refusing to let Scotland Yard detectives interview him.
The Emmy Awards lit up Los Angeles last night, celebrating the best of television. Find out which British teenager has made history.
Yes, quite a night for the Brits in LA as Netflix's Adolescence picked up a whopping 6 awards on the night. I'll have all the news from LA later in the show.
As a couple makes headlines for bringing a card machine to their wedding for guests to contribute to their honeymoon, we're asking if requesting cold hard cash as a gift on the big day is tacky.
And in sport this morning, Manchester City got back on track yesterday with a 3-0 win over their neighbours, Eamonn, while Liverpool beat Burnley with a very, very late penalty. Could Sheffield United turn to Chris Wilder for his 5th stint at the club after their disastrous start to the season? And the boxing world continues to pay tribute to one of the greatest British fighters of all time, Ricky Hatton.
Well, it's a windy start to the new working week, especially across England and Wales, where there is a Met Office warning in force. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Monday morning. Thank you for starting your day and your week with us. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. I am horrified about the story in the Times this morning. Teenage boys, on average, are spending more time gaming than they do in school.
I'm not surprised.
An average of 34 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's like a full-time job.
Yeah, and some people do it as a full-time job.
But these are children.
Just on...
But look, I tell you what, I've been with people, adults, recently, and the addiction to their phone is just unbelievable. What they do, what they look up, they're just constantly on it, looking at it. And, you know, you get the same argument, oh, but you're the same. I'm not the same. You know, I know I'm not the same. And I know I will look up, you know, the weather, or I'll look up whatever's on at the cinema or something like that. But that's it.
Oh, come on. You do like a bit of Instagram, though, don't you?
No, you like
a bit of Instagram, but...
And then YouTube, and then the old shows that you often look on there, don't you?
But you wouldn't be gaming, would you? You wouldn't sit and game for 30, 40 hours a week.
No.
But what?
That really... But yeah, it's an addiction. It's an obsession. It's like, I've got to go on there. I've got to go and do it.
I don't think this is bonkers. I mean, what parents are allowing children to have just uncontrolled gaming
but we don't see what
that many
they do.
hours a day?
We don't see what they do either.
Yeah, that's true.
The parents could
They're probably on the phones
Yeah.
doing...
So when Pong was out, Eamonn, when it was the... Did you spend hours and hours and hours doing that?
Doing what?
Do you remember the very first video games? Yeah, it was like that tennis thing. Pong, they used to call it. It was just like
What did they call it?
Pong.
Pong?
Yeah, that was what it was called.
Well, I didn't know that because I didn't...
It's because it stinks, that's why. It was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, you mean just that tennis thing?
Yeah, that's it. It just thing. It used to go like that.
Yeah, well, I was the sort of person when you got that and you tried it, and it was on the television set that you tried that, and then you got fed up after 15 minutes, you know, basically.
Yeah.
But
because it was it was basic, wasn't it?
Basic.
But if you think how basic that was and how advanced all the stuff is now, times that by 100.
What's the other thing they did? UFOs?
Space Invaders.
Yeah, Space Invaders.
Space Invaders.
We used to shoot.
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man was another one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was one that was called Track and Field. Did you ever do that? And then what you had to do, you had these like little runners. This is about 40 years ago, and you would do that, and then you could make them run for each leg, and you end up with sore fingers. And I've still got sore fingers to this day because of that.
Repetitive strain injury.
It was a very early one.
I still have a very sore index finger, two sore index fingers, yes, from typing.
Oh.
When you learn to be a journalist, you know, I could type very fast with one finger each
right,
side.
Yeah.
But it would just hard skin, feel the hard skin there.
That's a proper typewriter finger, that is.
Hands.
Yeah. Well.
You actually do.
Now try the other finger and see if that's much softer. Oh,
that is really
honestly, that's like
soft.
velvet, isn't it?
That one is hard in comparison to. Why are your hands so soft?
Yeah. For hands that do dishes, as do soft as your face, with mild green,
very liquid.
Yeah, she's saying, what are they talking
Genuinely,
about?
why are your hands so soft?
It's because he hasn't done a proper day's work in his life. That's why. That's the reason.
I've never done a day's work in my life at all. 5 minutes past 7. A very good morning to you on this Monday morning. Top story is the Prime Minister said to be clinging on to his job following the Lord Mandelson scandal.
Yes, Sir Keir Starmer is reportedly pinning all of his hopes on Donald Trump and his state visit going off without a hitch.
The American president is set to arrive tomorrow and could provide just the distraction the Prime Minister needs to ward off the threat of a backbench rebellion.
Well, let's speak now to James Rampton, who joins us in the studio this morning. James, what do you make of all of this? Putting all of his hopes on Donald Trump and this state visit.
Absolutely. Hard as it is to follow the Pong story, it is definitely a very, very seminal week for Starmer. And how often have we said that recently? Every week seems to be a crisis week for him. 2 weeks ago, he had the botched sacking of Angela Rayner. Last week, the bungling of the firing of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the US. He really is, as some MPs are saying to journalists, drinking in Last Chance Saloon now. In fact, somebody said the Mandelson scandal is the death knell for Starmer. Andy Burnham, very, very popular mayor of Manchester, is on manoeuvres. His allies are trying to find him a safe seat where he could stand in a by-election so he can be in Parliament and perhaps stand against Keir Starmer.
There's no going back for Burnham, is there? I mean, when you think of the conference coming up in October time, once he puts his head above the parapets and says, I'm going for a seat out there, then he's declared his hand. He's not just going for a seat, he's going for the leadership.
Yes, that's right. And it's like when Michael Heseltine stood against Mrs Thatcher, he went too early. And Michael Portillo as well. You've got to time your run absolutely right. And if Burnham does criticise Starmer in a speech at the Labour Party conference, which people are saying he will do, you're right, it's a one-shot deal. He's done it, and then he's got to go for it, or he's absolutely toast, because he will have to resign as Mayor of Manchester in order to get that seat. And if people think, well, that's disloyal, what we need is unity. People never vote for disunited parties, which history's proven to be correct. If Burnham is seen to be sowing discord within the Labour Party without a hope of winning, because people think, well, we don't want to be having fractures now, then he will have shot his bolt too early.
But the thing I would say to James is he's relatable to. He's a man of the people. He's an ordinary bloke. He speaks on behalf of a lot of people. He is Northern as well. He's already got a power base from Manchester. He's a lot of things that Keir Starmer is not.
Yes, I mean, to use an old cliche, he speaks human, which Starmer, for all his great qualities, does not. He speaks sort of robotic lawyer speak in many people's eyes. He's tagged as an Islington lawyer, which, as someone from Islington, I know is the worst possible sin. And it means that he is not perceived as having a relatable quality in the same way that Andy Burnham does. He's seen as technocratic, cold, and worst of all, unable to read the room. He's politically tone deaf. With all these scandals, he's not really read them very well. If you think of, I know many people would now criticise him, the way in which Tony Blair finessed so many crises and got through the other side with his brilliant reading of them, Starmer hasn't got those abilities at all. He's a very talented man, was very good as DPP, but he hasn't got that political nous. He doesn't feel your pain, as Bill Clinton said. He has a kind of clinical, austere ambience that really doesn't relate to people, and people feel he doesn't resonate with me. He's too standoffish. Even when he goes to the Arsenal, he's seen surrounded by security guards. He's not really one of us. Burnham, by contrast, has been an excellent mayor of Manchester. He's built up a power base there, and he's got that ability to speak a language that people can understand, and that's his trump card.
And, James, just before we let you go, do you think this could threaten to overshadow the state visit this week?
Yes, particularly as Lord Mandelson went for his association with Jeffrey Epstein, convicted paedophile. And and I absolutely applaud the British journalists who are fearless in their questioning, if they ask President Trump a question about Jeffrey Epstein, it could be very, very uncomfortable. That could reignite the whole scandal. Trump's got in a lot of trouble with the MAGA movement for the first time for his shilly-shallying over the issue. He hasn't released all the papers that he said he would. His association remains very murky with Epstein.
Of course he denies any wrongdoing.
Of course he does, and there may well be nothing salacious at all in it, but it's that suspicion that hangs over the friendship that is damaging to Trump. So if a fearless British journo asks a question, it could really fire up all the scandal again and would completely overshadow the state visit, and Trump would be livid, and goodness knows what the consequences for our country would be.
OK.
Thank you very much indeed, my friend. We'll see you again soon sometime. Thank you. Not with a question, but with an opinion. Jackie, good morning. Having your say this morning, Jackie. She said, I don't think Starmer is fit for the post of PM. He's not patriotic. I don't trust him at all. He would sell us out to gain EU status. So we get back to that whole Brexit situation there as well.
I don't think people have forgotten that, have they? Now, 11 minutes past 7. Let's change tack a bit, shall we? Because the 77th Emmy Awards took place overnight in Los Angeles.
Now, Netflix's psychological drama Adolescence took 6 trophies. Owen Cooper, the young lad who plays the teenager accused of murder, made history by becoming the youngest ever male Emmy winner.
Well, we're now joined in the studio by GB News entertainment editor Alex Davis. Morning to you, Alex. It was a big night for adolescents.
It was a fantastic night for adolescents. We discussed earlier 6 awards for adolescents. Like you just mentioned, Owen Cooper, youngest ever male winner of an Emmy, 15 years old he is, and this is his first ever on-screen role.
Good on him.
He's done incredibly well. There was awards for Erin Doherty, Stephen Graham, Philip Barantini, the director, Jack Thorne, the writer. It was overall a fantastic evening for adolescents.
I think the thing is, when you see the young lad on stage accepting his award, he's very, very relaxed, as we're going to see from this clip. Yeah. Here we go.
Standing up here is just, wow, it's just so surreal. Honestly, when I started these drama classes a couple of years back, I didn't expect to be even in the United States, never mind here. But I think tonight proves that if you listen and you focus and you step out your comfort zone, you can achieve anything in life. Like I was nothing about 3 years ago. I'm here now.
Yeah, he speaks so well. For somebody, like you said, this is a lad, it was his first on-screen role, and he's already pretty accustomed to the showbiz way of life. As I mentioned earlier, his next role was in Wuthering Heights with Margot Robbie. There were some other big wins, though. The Studio for Apple, that bagged 4. Severance for Apple, that grabbed 2. The Pit, which is a new medical drama, which is like ER. Remember ER back in the day? That's not even available in the UK yet. That grabbed 3. That was a bit of a shock. It saw off adolescents in the best drama field. But it wouldn't be a Hollywood Awards show without a bit of political grandstanding and virtue signalling, even though the host, Nate Bargatze, I probably butchered that name, he said in the light of what's going on in America at the moment, he said, listen, we're not going to make this political, we're not going to do any of that. But
it's inevitable, isn't it?
It's inevitable. There was an actress called, again, I'm probably going to butcher her name, Hannah Einbinder from Hacks, which is a US comedy. She decided to go on stage and, well, she said this.
Finally, I'll pay the difference, sorry. Finally, I just want to say, finally, go Birds. And free Palestine. Thank you.
I think there's a bit of editing on that.
So that was Go Birds, which is her American football team. That's irrelevant. And then she swore and targeted ICE, the American Immigration and Customs Agency, and then Free Palestine at the end. And I know I'm by no means qualified to weigh in on political issues, and nobody really wants to hear my opinions on that, but I am pretty qualified to say that bringing up political issues at award ceremonies really derails it and makes it a very annoying spectacle as an entertainment journalist. Because all we want to do is see who's won and see what they've got to say about their castmates
and
focus on the talent.
But Alex, the next big thing we're going to have to face is Eurovision and who's represented at Eurovision, because Ireland have said they will not participate, and Phil Coulter, who's written a couple of winning songs for Ireland for Eurovision, has said that the BBC shouldn't participate because of what is going on in Gaza.
But it's not just Ireland, it's the Netherlands, I think Slovakia or Slovenia have come out and said it as well. The Irish representative couldn't even, when she was defending the stance, couldn't even condemn Hamas. The lack of nuance in these political discussions nowadays, I think, is pretty abhorrent. The fact that we can say tackle these big, complex issues that have decades of history and reduce them to 2-word, 3-word slogans with no nuance is making political discourse.
Where I think you're on shaky ground is how do you get Russia then competing at Wimbledon? You know, having started a war in Ukraine.
Well, one of the things that they've said to Israel is if they want Israel to compete is to do it under a neutral banner. You know how they do it in the Olympics as well with Russian and Belarusian athletes. I have no idea what the answers are, but I know you can't reduce it to 2 and 3 words.
It's one that's not going to go away anyway. Thank you, my friend. Talk to us again, and any other reaction to winners, runners and riders, who won what, whatever. See you again later. Thank you very much indeed, Alex.
Now let's get a check on the weather with Catherine Chalk.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
And we sponsor the Great British Giveaway, which is magnificent. Have a go.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000.
You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof lights, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model.
We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Some of the other stories coming into the newsroom on this Monday morning. The prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann is refusing to speak to British police ahead of his release from a German prison. Christian Brubeckner, a convicted rapist, could be allowed to leave Germany without restrictions. The 49-year-old was known to be in the area at the time of Madeleine's appearance in 2007. He was first named as a person of interest 5 years ago.
It's set to be a wet and windy start to the week with gusts of up to 65 miles an hour. The Met Office has issued a yellow weather warning for most of England and all of Wales until this evening.
First deportations of Channel migrants back to France are set to take place this week. The asylum seekers are expected to be escorted by Home Office security on commercial flights rather than chartered aircraft. The one-in, one-out returns deal will see approved asylum seekers with connections to the UK brought here in return.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, weddings are, of course, full of traditions, but one tradition that may not last is the gift list. As more couples than ever are requesting money over gifts, we're debating if it's tacky to request cash only.
That may become a new tradition, may it not. We're debating that next. You're tuned in to Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie on this Monday morning. Thanks for your company.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and he did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Right, here's a story for you. Recently, a married couple have caused a big stir after they asked guests for money. And the way they did this is cruelly efficient, it has to be said, because they had a tap-and-go machine. So basically, you would just produce your card at the reception and you would
Do a
tap
contactless
it in
payment.
there.
Yeah, and they
Mhm.
had a sign next to it that said, "Don't be tight, pay for our flight."
Very good. Well, it's very efficient.
Well,
and very-
yes.
Does what it says on the packet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're from Milton Keynes, and they wanted their guests to fund a dream honeymoon, and that was to Mexico. And so they had that sign there, and that's...
Got straight to the point, didn't it?
Yeah. So we're asking whether requesting cash as a wedding gift is the right thing to do, or is it a bit tacky?
Well, we're now joined by etiquette expert Liz Brewer, who's in the studio with us, and the broadcaster Pete Price, who has just attended a wedding. Have you, Pete? So what did they ask for in Cyprus?
They asked for money, and it was incredible. And in fact, this wedding, you pin the money onto the wedding dress, which I think is fabulous. I went to one wedding where you actually pin the money onto the bridegroom and then ask the bride for a dance, which I thought was lovely. But the bridegroom was better looking than the bride, so I had to dance with him.
And is it a fixed amount, Pete? Is it a fixed amount that you have to give? In other words, you know, say you give £100 and someone else gives £200. Does that make you look bad?
Well, that's the problem, Eamonn, and you hit the nail on the head, because everybody looks to see how much you're going to give. I mean, my goddaughter got married recently, and they wanted money for a honeymoon. I went to Chris Mockery and Max Parker's wedding, and they wanted money, but I gave them a present. It is the norm. And the other thing is, so many people live together, and they get married later on, and they've got their home full of furniture and bits and pieces. So, you know, why not give them money? But I understand the idea of going in and tap and pin, that is tacky.
That's too far,
tacky.
isn't it? Liz, what do you think?
I think it's crass. You know, you might as well sell tickets and charge them to come to your wedding. Historically, going back to actually the Victorian times, although it was started in America. But in the 20s, we started wedding lists, and you registered your wedding list at some of the big stores. And it was a time when, of course, couples didn't live together, and therefore the whole idea was you had a list of all the things that would provide a home. Nowadays, as Pete mentioned, you know, young couples start living together, and they either do get married or they never get married. And then, you know, I really feel if they are living together, they save up to get married. Or when they get married, they whiz off somewhere, and then they have a celebration later on.
But Liz, you must be around long enough to remember wedding lists and gifts. But you know, in the days where everybody used to buy clocks and toasters and
Glasses.
and
But the thing was, Eamonn, you had a list. If you couldn't afford to buy a clock on the list, You could buy a spoon from, you know, a set of cutlery. You could buy a plate, because people would literally list something that they couldn't afford and that they wanted to have once they were married. And therefore, they would choose something, and it's a memento not only of that occasion, but it means you're sort of in their heart to the rest of their marriage. And it's a wonderful idea. I think it's very sad that nowadays, you know, couples are in a financial situation where they feel, you know, people have got to pay to be able to attend their marriage or enjoy their marriage or celebrate their marriage. It sort of belittles the whole thing. I must just mention something, and that is it does depend. I mean, this is Britain, Church of England, so it depends on religion. You know, there are different religions. Jewish religion, if they have a wedding, yeah, it's the done thing. People all give money. But so it depends, you know, your upbringing, it depends on your financial situation, it depends how much you want to remember that occasion and afterwards, and the friends.
How did people remember your occasion?
So it's a little bit awkward because as what you just described, Pete, we put on our wedding website that we were very lucky to already have our home, already have everything in our home that we need. And we just said, if you would like to contribute, we said, your presence is our present.
Ooh.
But if you'd like to contribute, we would like to go on a honeymoon next year. That's how we said it.
And that's a lovely idea. That's a lovely idea.
I didn't think you'd like it, actually, Liz. I was going to keep quiet over here.
Then you're going to have to give them all an album or something with photographs as to what they've paid for. And then maybe in the album you can list everybody.
Maybe that's the way to do it. Pete, last word to you.
Great, and I remember the list, but how many toasters can you have?
That's why you have a list. That's why you have a list. You only get one, and it's not. It's crossed off.
People don't read the list, and some
people...
Oh,
yes, they do. You're spending money. They do read the list, I can assure you.
Some people buy the most garbage presents in the world. And
that's why you have a list.
Money's best. And Ellie, all the love and luck in the world for your wedding, because you are a beautiful lady. Gorgeous.
But she's gone.
She's married.
Forget it. She's gone. Thank you, Pete. All the best. Thank you very much indeed, Elizabeth. Thank you. Always lovely hearing from you. Thank you. Your views, register them, let them know.
Yeah.
Up next, what have we got?
The boxing world continues to pay tribute to one of the greatest British boxers of all time, Ricky Hatton. We're going to be joined by the boxing commentator John Rawling. That's next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M6 southbound at junction 14, a collision has closed the exit slip road. Expect traffic to clear between 8:30 and 8:45 this morning. In Kent, the M25 clockwise entry slip at junction 3 is temporarily closed, expected to reopen by 10:15. In Cornwall, the A30 westbound between Camborne East and Camborne West has one lane closed due to a collision, but is anticipated to resolve shortly. And on the trains, disruptions affect cross-country between Nuneaton and Hinckley and Great Western Railway, between Southampton Central and Fareham. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's Sports Time. Paul Coates here with us. Morning.
Yeah, morning. Ricky Hatton, lots of tributes coming in for Ricky Hatton, of course.
So sad.
It really, really is sad. 46 years old and without doubt one of the greatest names in British boxing, one of the finest British boxers there's been. World title fights. It was over here and in Manchester and over in Vegas as well. But Eamonn, we have a great name in boxing to speak to us. Eamonn. John Rawling is going to be with us. So John is joins us now, one of our finest commentators. Morning, John.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm glad you're with us. Good to see you, John. Thanks a lot for your time. Ricky Hatton, obviously there's tributes pouring in left, right and centre from all across boxing, from all across sport, everywhere. Everybody loved him. Where was the first that you came across him? How early in his career did you first see him?
Well, I first saw him when he was about 18 or 19. You know, I saw him as a very young boxer, and he clearly had a lot of talent, even in those early stages. Managed by Frank Warren, promoted by him. And he was always such an amazingly likeable character. The whole of Manchester seemed to get to know him and seemed to bond with him because he was the ordinary man. He was one of the lads who went out there and boxed wonderfully well, and he became incredibly popular. The thousands who watched him when he finally won the world title in 2005 against Costa Zoo. It was a spine-tingling occasion, that was. And then there were tens of thousands went over to Vegas to see him fight Floyd Mayweather, and anybody who either saw or was actually at the Manchester Derby yesterday, they'd have heard firsthand the depth of affection from the Manchester public. The whole place just stood and cheered Ricky Hatton one last time. He had his mental problems, he had his drug problems, but he remained always one of the boys and was one of the most loved British boxers, I think, of all time. And for me, commentating on him, he was an absolute joy.
Did he retire too early, John?
No, I think he retired. He retired himself, if you like, because of his lifestyle. The drinking and ballooning in weight was clearly bad. He had mental issues. He said he suffered from depression and he had suicidal thoughts from a fairly early stage. And with that sort of thing going on, his career was shortened. He tried to come back in 2012, but lost badly in front of his own fans in Manchester. And from there on, 2012 onwards, he was out of the sport. He tried to promote, he tried to train, but not with any huge degree of success. Sure. And he always had the what do you like to describe it, the shadow of depression coming over him. And very, very sadly, despite the fact that so many people, myself included, thought of him with such affection and thought of him as a friend. He's reached out to people, he's had bad family fallouts, he's had relationships which didn't work out, and unfortunately he got himself into a downward spiral. And as anybody knows who's been in touch with people who've got that sort of depression, it's very difficult to break the loop once the decline sets in.
John, I imagine one of the most difficult things, especially with boxing as well, the highs are incredibly high. And also when it being a solo sport as well, I mean, it is all down to you. And when you reach that, and when you reach the pinnacle like he did, the money, the fame, so many people travelling all around the world to watch him, when it stops, that is obviously the point which is going to be more difficult than anything else.
Well, many boxers have found that to be a big problem, haven't they? You know, if you talk to Frank Bruno, he'd say similar things. And I think that's why so many fighters, major figures within the boxing world, have come out and paid tribute to Ricky, because they know the sort of the pain that he's gone through. Because once the adulation and the crowds, the cheering, once that's no longer there, it leaves a very big hole in an athlete's life. And Ricky was, sad to say, very much of that ilk.
Very sad news. Certainly one of the greats. We really appreciate your time, John. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us.
Appreciate it.
John Rawling, one of the top boxing commentators on the sad death of Ricky Hatton.
It's so sad, as you say, so sad, so young.
No age.
Of course it is, 46.
We're going to take a break there, and Prince Harry says he's turning over a new leaf after his meeting with his dad last week. So find out more with Christopher Biggins and Dawn Neeson next.
But first, we're in search of some holiday sun. Here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, well, there's plenty of sunshine across Europe. There are a few showers around, but otherwise it's feeling very warm out there. A bit breezy across parts of Madeira and the Canary Islands, but across much of Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, lengthy sunny skies. And across Greece as well, not doing too bad. There are just a few showers towards the north of that, but otherwise a lot of sunshine on offer, temperatures up to 34 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Tom Harwood. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
There's an interesting story, Charlie, in the Daily Mail. A two-year report that claims racism in the UK countryside is getting worse, with abuse normalised and tolerated. What do you think of this academic research?
Rubbish. Well, it's a load of old bunk. Yes, yeah. 2 years, as you say. 2 years to interview how many people? 115. It took 2 years.
Very scientific.
And this is where, people often ask about, what you do when you go to university, or the tuition fees that people have been paying. University of Leicester, where this report was undertaken, have funded this 2-year holiday spree by the sounds of things, and cobbled something together at the end. 115 people, that's nobody. But they've asked the question about, do you feel that the countryside is effectively exclusive in any kind of particular way?
Well, let me read this out. The report also claimed that non-verbal cues, such as incessant staring and unfriendly body language, made individuals from ethnic minority backgrounds feel unwelcome.
And no Wellington boots.
That's probably what they were staring at, yes.
Walking shoes. I'm a man with certain vintage. I've never owned a pair of walking shoes.
I haven't got walking shoes. I've got Wellington boots.
I've never owned a pair of walking shoes. I've got a pair of wellies.
Well, there you go.
A pair of trainers.
So we'd both be OK in the countryside.
It does not impede on your appreciation of the countryside having walking shoes or not.
Well, it depends how far you have to walk.
It's pathetic. Haven't these universities got better things to do?
Well, you would have thought so. But the idea that, the countryside is now all of a sudden racist, or the rural communities in our great countryside is all of a sudden exclusive, as I say, it's ridiculous.
GB News, the People's Channel.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, and this is GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
So do I. I love it. Biggins and I were just talking, there's a story here in the papers that about popular programmes, and he just said, I like 4 in a bed. And I do too.
I love it.
Do you know what I do? And then they play them all on a Sunday, and I tape them.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Isn't that we're sad? But I mean, I love seeing those people go around doing that with their fingers and for dust.
Here's my point about that, right? If you know that's going to happen, you know that is a cert.
Yeah.
Surely you would have gone around everywhere with a fine toothbrush.
Of course, but then you know, but then when people pull back the sheets and they, oh, it's a hair. Yeah. You know, the hair could have fallen off them. I mean, it's just, it makes me, it's very amusing programme.
Yes, very good. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't watch it at all?
Never even heard of it.
It's people who stay in bed and breakfasts, and then they rate them, and they also own a bed and breakfast.
They go to other B&Bs.
Oh,
right. Oh,
and my favourite bit, at the end, they pay what they think it's worth, you know. And I love it when people get something like, they pay £40, and the people say, you can take your £40 back.
Yes.
You know, oh, I love it.
So you get £40, fine, you can debate that. Then there are like £250 or something. You think, what are you talking about?
I know.
So,
what side is it on? What channel is it?
Channel 4, I think.
Oh, Channel 4, yeah.
It's quite addictive. That's the thing about it.
Fortune, you'd like that one. We talked about that earlier, Fake or Fortune.
Fake or Fortune, yeah, the husband loves it like Coity, they're both addicted to it.
Yeah,
so why are people lying about their TV habits?
Yeah. Because I think they want to be seen to be intelligent.
Oh, right. So they're saying they're watching documentaries, serious things.
And they're watching Coronation Street in Emmerdale.
I see.
But it's hard to find. I mean, you know, television has this terrible habit of just repeating the same programmes. So whether you like them or not, I'm not making any judgments on the programmes, whether you like The Chase, whether you like Homes Under the Hammer, whether you like that awfully boring one on at... what's that one on?
That could mean anything.
What do they do?
It's on at 5 o'clock every day. They just give the wrong answers.
Oh, pointless!
A pointless, stupid programme.
It is pointless.
And they're on all the time. So my point is, well, why can't you just break the mould there? Why can't you just put something in for another 6 or 8 or 10 weeks? Yeah. And that's on all the time.
Well, last night, though, I mean, I do think that the drama on television is excellent.
Yes,
and there was a series last night called Cold Water, which was fantastic. #1 episode of 6 coming up. And I was on the edge of my seat.
Sell these elsewhere, you see.
Yeah, well, it's very clever and it's beautifully done.
Is it a murder thing?
Yeah, it's a psychological murder thing, and it is really good. I recommend it. A wonderful actor called Andrew Lincoln plays the lead. Excellent.
Biggins, are you still in the market for acting jobs?
Yeah, no, I can't act anymore. I tell you why, because it's learning the lines. I find very difficult. I mean, you know, I think it's the years of learning lines.
The memory.
The memory, yes. I mean, I know so many actors who have earpieces.
Yes.
You know, or they have I mean, I'd love to have auto-cue.
Yeah.
You know, and you could easily, I could talk to you now with auto-cue.
In the Generation game, they used to put stickers on the cameras. Yeah, so they used to read it.
That's right.
That's right.
And when the two Ronnies were live and doing all their fantastic televisions, the series, they had 3 huge cinema screens in the studio. And wherever they looked, they could see the lines.
They could see it.
Very clever.
There's the trickery.
Let's have a look at something totally different, shall we? And this is in the Telegraph this morning. Actually, most of the papers this morning have picked this up in some way or shape or form. The prime suspect in Madeleine McCann's disappearance, a guy called Christian Bruckner, is going to be released released from a German prison this week, isn't he? And he's now refusing to speak to Metropolitan Police.
Well, this is the only suspect, really, in this case, which has been going on since 2007, when Maddie disappeared in Praia da Luz, obviously. He is serving time for rape, the brutal rape of a pensioner in Praia da Luz in 2005 in Germany. He is about to be released this week. He has refused to be interviewed by the British police, and they have no power to force him to do so, which is very intriguing. I mean, Scotland Yard have permitted a formal request to interview him, but he has refused, and that's it. And obviously, if you are Maddie's parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, it's just piling more agony onto, because they're not giving up. To be fair to those parents, they are not giving up. And it's just going to be heartbreaking, because this man, who doesn't sound... he's convicted of one rape, and there's lots of stories about other things he may or may not have done, is going to be walking free and is free to travel anywhere in the world after this.
And he could just disappear.
He could just disappear, or he could even come to the UK. But he was refusing to be interviewed, and you have to ask yourself why. If he's innocent, why is he refusing to talk?
But why is he allowed to refuse?
Because, I mean, he's a free man. He's served his time in Germany. He's served...
But if the police say, we have due interest to talk to you...
It's a legal thing. Evidently, he can refuse to be interviewed by the British police.
Look at people who refuse to go into the dock. They say, no, I'm not going to go in, and they're allowed not to go in.
Maybe because he's serving time in the German system.
It's the German legal system that's the issue here.
Back to TV programmes again, and there's a programme I was watching last night called Educating Yorkshire.
Oh, yes.
That's a good programme.
It's a good programme, yeah. And it shows, I suppose, the difference between schooling in my day and modern schooling, and all the different therapists and psychoanalysis people that are available for children to take care of their needs. I find it fascinating watching all this. But here is an incentive that one school is offering, a 40-inch television if you have good attendance at school.
It's a joke.
It is a joke.
I mean, it's absolutely a joke.
Do you know what used to get us to go to school all the time? Being caned.
Oh.
Right. So basically, if you didn't go, you got caned, and therefore you went.
Yeah. I was caned for smoking in the back. In the back.
And you don't even smoke now.
No, I don't. Of course not. But I mean, it was something you had to do. And actually, it wasn't a cane. It was a slipper. But it did hurt.
You know, the reason I went to school when I was a child, most of the time, is because I had good parents. Who cared about me and cared about parenting and cared about education.
Absolutely.
Where are the mums and dads?
I know.
It's a good question.
So I just can't believe in saying, well done, Holmes. You've turned up today, and you've done that for the past 3 months. So Eamonn's going to get a 40-inch TV. Big round of applause for Eamon.
I know.
Giveaways, yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Well, that's the point you made earlier, Biggins. Who's paying for this? Schools are already scrabbling around for cash. The budgets are broken. Who's paying for this 40-inch TV?
Well, Ellie has found a way that they may be paying for all of this. Right, tell us more.
Biggins just caught my eye this morning. Why schools are fitting the bill for weddings? It's the idea that people would host weddings in their school chapel on a Saturday.
Well, I think schools are doing so badly financially that they need to make some money. And why not? Because some of the schools have wonderful, wonderful rooms, wonderful, huge spaces where you can have a fantastic wedding on a Saturday or a Sunday even, perhaps. And it's a wonderful way of making an income for these schools.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
A big dining room, wouldn't you?
What if they use the school canteen?
Well, you don't want school dinners, would you? As your wedding breakfast.
So let's say you ship in the meals. You've got a dancing area. You've got an entertaining area. You've got the tables area. You've got all that.
Chapel.
You've got a stage. You've got a chapel.
I think it's a great idea.
Mind you, for my 60th birthday, I had quite a few friends for dinner, and a sit-down dinner, and we gave them sausages, baked beans, and mashed potato.
Oh, was that a budgetary requirement?
No, it was just, I thought it was funny enough, but everybody loved it.
Nostalgia.
You know, it was really terrific.
That's a great dinner.
Great dinner.
Yeah.
I think that story's great. It depends on where you go to school, though, doesn't it? If you're going to go back to your own school on a trip down memory lane, if you go to a comprehensive in East London that doesn't have a chapel, probably wouldn't be holding your wedding there.
No, I mean, in the paper today, some of the buildings are fantastic.
It's private schools, isn't it?
It's private schools.
Yeah, and they're the ones suffering.
Yes, well, of course, with VAT.
Yeah.
They're the ones
VAT
that
increases.
need the money, yeah.
Private schools and Catholic schools, won't it, with big chapels?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're going to see happening.
And then maybe if you do that right, you'll get a 40-inch TV as a wedding present with all of that.
What a great idea.
One thing they're not saying, just briefly, we've got 30 seconds, 2/3 of kids are ignorant about the Battle of Britain, Dawn.
I think this is so scary, this story. This is Robert Jenrick, who's saying that the Battle of Britain should be taught to children in schools as part of British history, and it's not at the moment, but 40% of adults do not know if the UK actually won the Battle of Britain. 64% of those under 40 don't even know what the Battle of Britain refers to, which is utterly depressing.
Terrible.
We're coming up to the...
and the easiest thing to revise because the TV's full of movies.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's 85 years on this year.
Guys, thank you very much indeed. The guys are going to be back in 40 minutes' time. Here's Catherine with the weather.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to a GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M25, an unfortunate incident has resulted in the closure of all lanes at junction 3 of the clockwise slip road in Kent, creating significant congestion. Traffic conditions are expected to improve between 11 and 11:15 this morning. Additionally, there are ongoing lane closures on the M25 clockwise due to another accident near junction 3. On the trains, cross-country services are facing disruptions between Nuneaton and Hinckley, while Great Western Railway is experiencing delays on the route between Southampton Central and Fareham. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's our biggest Great British giveaway to date. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas and has all of the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that any adventures you take in your new motorhome are taken in style. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Growing fears that the Prime Minister's days are numbered.
As backbench MPs threaten to revolt over the Lord Mandelson scandal.
But with President Trump's state visit imminent, can the Prime Minister use it to save his leadership?
Yes, just a year after winning one of the biggest majorities in British modern history, Keir Starmer is now holding on to the premiership by the tips of his fingers. Could President Donald Trump be his unlikely saviour? Find out more with me very soon. The first Channel migrants are set to be returned to France this week under Sir Keir Starmer's one-in, one-out deal. But could an 11th-hour legal intervention throw a spanner in the works?
Well over a month since this deal became operationalised, we should see the first migrants return to France, but it will only be a handful compared to 5,500 who've arrived here since that deal became operational.
Are we living through a golden age for nuclear? The UK and US have agreed a landmark deal to fast-track a new generation of small nuclear power stations.
Calls for schools to teach pupils about the Battle of Britain. 85 years on, and a shocking new poll reveals 2 in 3 under 40s don't even know what it is.
The prime suspect in Madeleine McCann's disappearance is refusing to let Scotland Yard detectives interview him. That's just days before he's set to be released from prison in Germany.
The Emmy Awards lit up the Peacock Theatre in Los Angeles last night, celebrating the best of television. Find out which British teenager made history.
And in sport this morning, Manchester City got back on track yesterday with a 3-0 win over their neighbours Manchester United, whilst Liverpool beat Burnley with a very, very, very late penalty. Could Sheffield United turn Chris Wilder, or turn to him, for his 5th stint at the club after their disastrous start to the season? And the boxing world continues to pay tribute to one of the greatest British fighters of all time, Ricky Hatton.
Well, it's a windy start to the new working week, especially across England and Wales, where there is a Met Office warning in force. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Monday mornings. Thank you for starting your day and your week with us. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Well, let's get straight into the politics, shall we, this morning? We're joined now by Shadow Chancellor to the Duchy of Lancaster, Alex Burghardt. Good to see you this morning, Mr Burghardt.
Morning.
Morning. We're talking about the state visit. We're talking about the state visit of President Trump this week. Are you concerned that the Lord Mandelson saga could threaten to overshadow this historic state visit?
Absolutely. And last week, we were calling on the government to just come clean about what had happened with the whole Mandelson affair so that it didn't overshadow this visit. It's a very important visit by the President of the United States. They haven't done that. It's dragged on into this week. And we're going to be trying again today to get the government to publish all of the Mandelson Epstein files so that everybody can see what the Prime Minister knew, when he knew it, and how this appointment came to be made in the first place.
So if he doesn't do that, Alex, you're saying that questions will be asked?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure that the President does not want this being a feature of his visit here. I'm sure that nobody really wants this being a feature of his visit here. Let's deal with this today. The Prime Minister has it in his power to tell us what he knew when. When he came to the House of Commons last week on Wednesday for Prime Minister's questions and defended Lord Mandelson, said that Mandelson had his full confidence. We now know that that Number 10 knew that there were a lot more emails detailing his intimate relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, with Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Yet, why did he come to the House of Commons and defend Mandelson so firmly, given what Number 10 already knew? But more importantly, Eamonn, how is it that Peter Mandelson got appointed in the first place when the vetting process must have thrown up this information in the first place? So either the vetting process got it wrong, very unlikely, we have good security services in this country, or somebody kept that information from the Prime Minister, which would be very serious indeed, and that could only have been one of his most senior aides, like his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, or the Prime Minister knew and he made the appointment anyway. Somebody is going to have to take responsibility for this, and at the moment, nobody is taking responsibility.
Big questions to ask there. The first small boat migrants are due to be deported on commercial flights to France every day of this week, it's being reported. This part of this one-in, one-out deal with France. Are you confident that those flights are going to take off, or are you expecting a slew of last-minute legal challenges?
I'll believe it when I see it, but it's not one in, one out. Look, we see how many thousands of people are crossing the Channel on a regular basis, and a small number of people being sent back to France is not going to act as the meaningful deterrent that we need. You know, the meaningful deterrent that the Conservative Party left behind when we lost the election last year. Unless you have very, very large numbers of people being sent to a third country as quickly as possible, the trafficking gangs are going to still continue to operate. So I just think that this is a distraction. I don't think it's going to make any difference at all.
On Saturday, it was the Unite the Kingdom rally in the centre of London. It was billed as a free speech rally about the protection of British religion, British identity. Reports that there are between 110,000 and 150,000 people, potentially more, on the streets of London. What was your response to the Unite the Kingdom rally on Saturday?
So I think that you've got to sort of see this through several different lenses, and I think obviously the small number of people who attacked police officers were completely wrong, and I think they're going to be punished, and that's quite right. But there were a large number of people there who were not violent, who I think were showing standing up for their country and for patriotism, and I think the key element of that is the defence of free speech, which I think is extremely important. Kemi Badenoch, leader of my party, is commissioning a new review from Toby Young, Lord Young, who is head of the Free Speech Union, on how we can protect free speech in our country. So I think it's very, very important we see it through that light as well.
What light do you see the idea that only 4 out of 10 pupils nowadays really understand what the Battle of Britain was all about, and 4 out of 10 don't understand, or I should say the 6 out of 10 have no idea who won it, for instance? I mean, you have that title, the Chancellor to the Duchy of Lancaster, which is such an emotive term when it comes to flight during the Second World War, the famous Lancaster bomber.
Yes, yeah, quite right. Look, I used to be a history teacher, and hearing those statistics this morning, I just feel very sad. I know this is entirely wrong, that we have a generation, perhaps more than one generation of young people growing up not knowing some of the fundamental things about our history. And I think it's not just our recent history. Very important things like the Battle of Britain and Dunkirk, everybody ought to know about. But also, if you went back about 30, 40 years, you'd find that most school children going through the English school system would have learnt a bit about everything from kind of the Romans to today. And they'd have an understanding of the kind of the long progress of English history. That helps bring the world to life. It helps you understand things around you. And now we have a much more pick and mix approach to history, which I think lets young people down. We've got to change that.
So as a former history teacher, do you think that the Battle of Britain and Second World War studies needs to be part of the curriculum?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, the Battle of Britain is one of those moments where the country overcomes the odds to protect what's so precious about, our island story. And if those men and women had not succeeded in those dark days in the 1940s, the future of British history, of European history, of world history could have been very, very different indeed. And let me tell you, in that other scenario, nobody would have been able to march for free speech in London yesterday.
Good point. Alex Burkhardt, MP, lovely talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for putting all that into perspective for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, let's speak now to GB News' political correspondent, Olivia Utley, who's in the studio with us. Olivia, you were listening across to all of that. What did you make of it?
Well, it's quite a nice position for the Conservatives to be in, really, and I felt I was in PMQs on Wednesday, and it seemed as though Kemi Badenoch finally was making some headway. She was forensic in her analysis of Keir Starmer. Finally, the Conservatives are getting a slightly easier ride. Keir Starmer is in a really, really tricky situation. I just want to reiterate just how unbelievable it is, really, the situation that the Prime Minister finds himself in. Just over a year ago, he won 3 seats fewer than Tony Blair in 1997, an absolute landslide majority. And now we are seriously talking about the end of his premiership. Why is that? Well, what Labour MPs I've been speaking to say is that it basically comes down to a lack of sort of political instinct. This Mandelson affair is just the latest in a whole slew of political missteps, really. In the Mandelson case, it sounds as though, why was Mandelson appointed in the first place when obviously there were concerns about his relationship with Epstein, and the head of Number 10 was warned about it. Morgan McSweeney was warned about it at the time. But then, almost more importantly, from a Keir Starmer perspective, he had this cache of emails on Tuesday morning. He sacked Mandelson on Thursday. In the meantime, on Wednesday, he'd gone into Parliament and defended Mandelson. Why did he do that? Really, really strange decision to make. And, of course, very similar to what he did with Angela Rayner, where it became evident to almost everyone in the country who's interested in politics that the Deputy Prime Minister was going to have to go, but the Prime Minister stuck by her till the very last minute. And then you think also of some of the policy U-turns that he's had to make, the welfare U-turn and the winter fuel U-turn. And what Labour MPs are beginning to say, privately some of them, publicly some of them, Clive Lewis has come out publicly to say that perhaps Keir Starmer just doesn't have what it takes. Obviously, that brings us on to, well, who would replace him? The person who at the moment seems to be on manoeuvres is Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester. He is in cahoots, by the looks of it, with Lucy Powell, who was sacked by Starmer in the reshuffle a couple of weeks ago. She is now standing to be deputy leader of the party. If she won that deputy leadership election, then her and Burnham could prove together a pretty challenging duo for the Prime Minister. There are some questions about how Burnham would manage to get in. He's not an MP at the moment. He's Mayor of Manchester. He would have to win a by-election. Is there a by-election at the moment that Labour could even win? But if you overcome a few of those hurdles, then Keir Starmer is looking at a pretty difficult situation.
Certainly is. Olivia, thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivia. The time, 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. GB News sources have confirmed the first deportations of Channel migrants back to France are set to take place this week. Now, this is part of the government's one-in, one-out deal with France. Home Office security staff are expected to escort asylum seekers on commercial flights.
Well, let's get more details now from GB News' Home and Security Editor, Mark White. Very good morning to you, Mark. So we're expecting these first migrants to be on those first flights today.
Well, definitely this week. Sources are not confirming that it will be today, although it's been reported in some news organisations that it could be as early as today. The reason that we're not getting confirmation from our sources is there is a certain nervousness, seeing what happened, of course, with those planned flights to take migrants off to Rwanda during the Conservative government that were scuppered at the last minute by a slew of court appeals. There's some concern that that could well happen this week. And if that does happen, well, it may well delay the potential flights. They may get off the ground at the end of the day because remember, of course, they're not going off to Africa. They're going off to a developed, friendly country just across the channel where, of course, we can prove that they began that leg of their journey from France to the UK. So they're only going back to the country they were in immediately before arriving in the UK. So let's see just how those legal challenges, if they do happen, we expect them to happen, how successful they are. We know, of course, that the legal teams, the lawyers, are expert now in being able to challenge on all kinds of grounds. The right to a family life, for instance, if any of those migrants have relatives here in the UK, issues around trauma and detention as well. So it's certainly likely, I think, that there will be some challenges. As I say, we don't know yet just how successful they'll be.
OK, Mark White there for us. Thank you very much.
Time approaching 8:15. Catherine Chalk with your weather picture today. And how did you describe it earlier?
It's going to rain for a week. That's what you need to know.
Basically.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your views and having your say this morning. We do appreciate them. Billy is saying weddings are getting tacky. We were talking earlier about wedding lists, wedding gifts, and a lot of people are leaving just lists that you deposit cash. You put cash against your name if you're a guest at the wedding. If money is that tight, then don't have a flash wedding or a flash honeymoon. Just live in the real world, which admittedly isn't very nice, but that's life.
Michael says, I think having a cash machine at a wedding is incredibly crass. What is wrong with a wedding list?
Jack says, I would pretend and I would tap my Tesco club card instead.
Very good. There's a couple from Milton Keynes who brought a card machine to their wedding.
Yeah.
Like a tappy machine, contactless card.
Yeah.
And it said, don't be tight, pay for our flight. And they were asking people to pay for their honeymoon. Yeah.
I wonder, did they get it?
I would like to know that. Yeah. Did people like that they were being that upfront?
Do you know, sometimes you could argue that it just takes the onus off you. It's just like you don't have to worry or stress too much about thinking about what to get somebody. You just say, what's required of me? Pay that, right? That's what I do, right? You know, there we go. But different views, different folks, different strokes for different folks.
I think because a lot of people live together now before they're married, they already have their homes and they have their things inside it. So maybe things just moved on a bit.
Yeah.
Need cash because weddings are expensive. Anyway, that's what we think.
You'll need very little if you enter our Great British giveaway. It's your chance to be, well, our biggest winner that we've had. The package is worth over £104,000.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof lights, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16, PO Box 8690, Derby, DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Still to come, 85 years since the Battle of Britain, and a shocking new survey has revealed 2 in 3 people do not know what year the Battle of Britain was in, or indeed who won it. Indeed, even who took part. But we're playing our part in righting that wrong here in GB News next.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
I find this a very sad story, that we are considerably less electrified than comparable economies. Is it a sad story?
It covers the trials, tribulations, but also the triumphs of electrification in this country, because we have done some things very well. HS1, for example, I worked on that, the Channel Tunnel Rail Link, and Don Heath, my co-author, was the project director of the East Coast Main Line, the longest work site in the UK, and indeed I think in Europe in the 1980s. And he brought that job in on time and on budget, as indeed HS1 did. In fact, he got to Leeds a year early and saved £1 million. So we have done some things well.
So first, as it were, the decision-making side of it, and then we'll talk about implementation. So why is it that Britain has not decided to do more electrification in what I would call a timely way?
I think it's primarily because we have no strategy. We had no strategy for electrification, and that goes back right to the 1800s.
Was it the case that British Railways was sort of romantically connected to steam, wouldn't give up steam, and then, rather oddly, became rather infatuated with diesel as well?
Yeah, that's a point, or a number of points that we bring out in the book, actually, because there were different factions in the 1950s. Some people wanted to stick with steam and go straight to electrification. Robert Riddles, for example, he was the chief engineer. But other people thought that the infrastructure requirements were too big, and wouldn't it be better to go for diesel-electric traction and have some benefit from the electric?
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's amazing to think the Battle of Britain, that's if you know what the Battle of Britain was, because we're highlighting the fact that a lot of people don't. This is the 85th anniversary, 1940, the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and events will be taking place all around the country to honour the significant battle from World War II.
Well, on this day in 1940, the Luftwaffe launched its largest and most concentrated attack against London, which was repelled by the RAF and marked a turning point in the Second World War.
We're now joined by our reporter, our national reporter, Jack Carson, who's there, and that's a few airplanes surrounding you as well. Jack, what have you got?
Well, we're in the beautiful Hangar 42 here in Blackpool. This Spitfire behind me, of course, they're taking such a crucial role on this day 85 years ago. John Coombs, who's the director here, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Give us the significance of what today was 85 years ago.
Yeah, Battle of Britain Day was the 15th of September 1940, was Goering's last chance to break the Royal Air Force, and really for the RAF was a key turning point for Great Britain. If we'd have lost the battle today, then Operation Sea Lion and the invasion of England would have taken place.
And tell us the significance of where we are in Hangar 42 in Blackpool. What is the significance of where we are this morning?
Well, the Spitfire Visitor Centre, or Hangar 42 at Blackpool Airport, this was the very first hangar built in May 1939. So when we had the idea that the war was coming, they hurriedly converted RAF Squires Gate, as we know it now, to from a horse racing track to an operational airfield. Blackpool was also turned into RAF Station Blackpool, and in the rest of the war it would become the Europe's biggest military training establishment.
So a lot of this place is original as well as it would have been back in 1940, and of course you've got such a collection of planes here. You know, this Spitfire behind me, we've got a Hurricane in the corner. These are the planes which defended Britain.
They were, and certainly here at Blackpool we'd have had the Hawker Hurricane operating from here during the Battle of Britain, and the Bolton Paul Defiant, which is often not talked about at all. So in this very hangar, 256 Squadron, 308 Squadron and various ground training courses were taking place, certainly through the Battle of Britain and then the run-up to the Blitz.
And a new poll out today showing that 2/3 of people under 40 don't really even know what the Battle of Britain is. Is that concerning for you? I guess that stresses the importance of places like this existing for people to come and see.
It is concerning, and one of the key reasons we're here is for education. Now, we have a very good primary school education programme here, and a lot of the Blackpool and Fylde Coast schools do come here. But it is concerning because if we think about how the world is today, if we forget about the struggles of the past, then there's a generation sleepwalking into problems in the future. So I think what we try and do here is keep the building as original as it is, and the realities of fighting on the ground as well as in the air during the Battle of Britain and the whole of World War II as well. So we tell a range of stories here, and I think it is very, very important that these private museums like this are supported, because if we lose them, we lose them for good.
All right, John, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've got something a little bit special for you. So as we just come off camera here, we have got a very special edition of The Last Post. Remember all of those who lost their lives in the Battle of Britain.
Very good, very good. Very emotive, very emotional, it has to be said. And a lot of people who think that the Battle of Britain was one battle, of course it wasn't. It was a series of conflicts between July and October of that year, 85 years ago. 85 years ago. Thank you to Jack Carson for bringing that atmosphere, and for our trumpeter there at the museum. Right, let's get an update on what is happening on the roads, and here we go.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M25 clockwise, an incident at Junction 3 has resulted in road closures. In Leeds, the M1 northbound at Junction 42 is experiencing a vehicle fire, keeping 2 lanes shut. In the Wirral area, the M53 northbound between Junction 2 and Junction 1 faces delays with 1 lane closed. Traffic on the A500 southbound between the A34 and junction with the M6 is experiencing congestion with a time lag of about 10 minutes. On the trains, cross-country services are disrupted between Nuneaton and Hinckley, while Great Western Railway faces issues between Southampton Central and Fareham. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Now do stay with us, still to come. At 9 a.m, we're going to be talking to the Minister for Skills and Labour veteran Baroness Smith, who's going to be looking ahead to Donald Trump's state visit this week.
But first, we're paying tribute to the life and legacy of the legendary boxer Ricky Hatton, who was sadly taken from us only yesterday.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Got Paul here. He's going to bring you up to date with the latest sports news, and that'll be football, my friend.
Will be football. Manchester City. Oh, how do you feel when I keep doing this? Do you feel as if I'm rubbing it in? Because I don't want to. I'm just trying to do my job. But I've got to mention Man City 3, Manchester United 0. Does it cut like a dagger, or do you not feel anything now?
Well, you see, sometimes football hurts when it's an unexpected defeat. But when you don't expect to win now, you don't expect to win anything.
That's unfortunate.
I feel like you're just numb to it now.
It could be, yeah.
You say that's fair?
Yeah, and I find it quite strange. You get teams like Tottenham sitting up there.
What do you mean get
They've won a
teams
trophy,
like Tottenham?
Eamonn.
Yeah, they're the top half of the table, sitting where we should be, where Man United should be.
We're second. We're more than the top half of the table.
That's pretty top half.
Yeah.
That's pretty top
All right. Listen, I'm not goading you. I'm just actually asking it because I'm interested. Because the thing is, Ruben Amorim has said, the manager, he's not going to change the way he plays.
He can't be long in the job. I mean, that's the worst record from anyone who's managed Manchester United since the Second World War.
It's not good. Let's hear what Ruben Amorim had to say and whether there's an excuse this time about why they lost to Manchester City yesterday.
I will do everything, always thinking about what is best for the club. That was always the same message. And then it's not my decision, the rest. So until I'm here, I will do my best I really want to win games. So I'm suffering more than them.
Desperate to win. Of course he wants to win. For himself, for the club. But sometimes it just doesn't work.
And also it depends who's available. Nuno Espirito was available.
Oh, you wouldn't want Nuno, would you?
No.
You know, I think if Nuno...
There's a time I would have.
At United?
4 or 5 years ago, yeah.
See, I think that there's a good chance that Nuno Espirito Santo, now he's left Nottingham Forest and now Ange Postecoglou's taken over, there could be a vacancy at Wolves because Wolves have their most horrendous start to the season. So maybe, and I know that Wolves fans love Nuno, so after my little tip about Ange Postecoglou, which is about a month before it actually happened, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Nuno finds himself going back to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Back there.
Because, you know...
It was a good time.
It was a great time for them. But the thing is, when we talk about people going back, it's like Sheffield United.
Chris Wilder there.
Chris Wilder. I mean, he's been at the club now as a player twice, as a manager twice. This is like the 5th time, and they said don't go back, because what happened is at the end of last season, Sheffield United, I mean, at the moment, they're rock bottom. They've played 5, they've lost 5. It's a disaster. So the manager's gone. They've fired the manager. They're now looking for a new manager. So it's like, well, you know, it wasn't quite so bad under Chris, was it? So if they get him back, maybe things would be OK again. For his 5th term at the club, he got them into the playoffs. And stupidly, they fired him just because they didn't get through. I think it was a ridiculous decision to make.
Whereas you could argue that Ruben Amorim maybe should have gone when we lost to you lot in that European Cup final.
Well, yeah, that could have been it, but it's what do? You think, well, how long do you give a manager? There's always people and teams where everybody complains the manager. They think that managers don't get enough time. But he's won like 4 games. It's a really bad record, and it's getting worse.
He's got time and he's got money.
Yeah. So what do you do? Do you do it now, or just give it a little longer and see if it works? He believes in what he's doing, but the thing is, does everybody else?
He signs the part and he looks the part.
Talks a great game.
But the tactics, I mean, they're just not working, and a lot of people have a lot of doubt now. Those who had faith, I think it's gone. I have the feeling that he is looking at it and thinking, everywhere I've been, this has worked. So why is it not working now? And I just don't know what to do. So I'm going to stick with it because that's what I do. But
he needs to be more nimble than that, doesn't he? If it's not working.
Well, this is it. Do you change? Do you change your tactics? Do you do it, or do you stay true to what you believe in? That's where he is. But is it going to work for Manchester United?
Liverpool, though, got a very good win. Goodness me, it was worth it. It was the 96th minute. Where they were awarded that penalty yesterday. Yeah, and those are valuable points to them.
They really are, because they're not only unbeaten but 100% record. And Burnley, I mean, I think most of us, and we do the predictions with Clive Allen on the website, and we both said that it'll be a 3-0 win to Liverpool. I think everybody did, and then 0-0, and it's going on, and then Burnley are down to 10 men, and there's Mo Salah, nothing, not providing anything. The crosses are bad, playing bad, and then the 95th minute. He gets a penalty, bang in the back of the net, and that's what good teams do.
Yeah, I'd like to know how they treated the Burnley player who gave the penalty away, though, at that time.
It's like a hat. It's arm.
As a manager, what do you do? Do you pat him on the back, or do you just not speak to him?
Yeah,
I don't think I'd have spoken to him.
It's funny. It's like when you see players sent off as well. And we saw that with the Spurs West Ham game. And Souček walks off, and I was thinking, what's Graham Potter going to do?
Yeah.
He sort of just look the other way.
Says it all.
Give him the cold shoulder.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks for everything this morning. Still to come, the term man overboard is apparently offensive.
Find out who's saying that and why.
Anything I say is offensive, anything.
With Biggins and Dawn Newsome next.
Man, you have to say person overboard, do you? Is this what you've
I imagine that's what they're asking people to say, person overboard, yeah.
If you're drowning, I don't think you care what they call you as long as they save you.
You get the gist.
Anyway, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean All Clear Skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello, well, there's plenty of sunshine across Europe. There are a few showers around, but otherwise it's feeling very warm out there, a bit breezy across parts of Madeira and the Canary Islands, but across much of Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, lengthy sunny skies, and across Greece as well, not doing too bad. There are just a few showers towards the north of that, but otherwise a lot of sunshine on offer, temperatures up to 34 degrees.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
5 hosts. 5 opinions. 5 fearless debates.
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain's Newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
Good morning, Graham. What's your view on the latest comments about the gender of the next James Bond? Should there be one?
Well, there obviously should be a James Bond, but it should never be a woman. I think this is something that was in the media and the press some years ago that's kind of been dragged up to a degree. It's a nonsense. It was a nonsense when it was first spoken about some years ago, and it's just as big a nonsense now. It needs to be a 6 foot tall, dark-haired, strapping, middle-aged guy. I say middle, I mean talking about 32.
Yeah, Graham, like,
32 is quite young in my book.
Well, but I mean, look, Graham, what I say is that you know, a lot of these. I mean, I know Amazon, I believe, have bought the rights to James Bond now. I mean, you've seen what they've done with some of their other shows. I'm not so convinced they're not going to go down this super woke, what I would call woke route. Is it? Do they really need to reinvent James Bond though? Because we've had so many iterations of him. They pretty much killed him off in the last movie. Do we need to reinvent the idea of James Bond, or should James Bond just retire? Should we say, actually, do you know what? We've had James Bond for almost 100 years. Actually, should we let this character rest for at least a bit of time, or maybe just retire the character before it gets destroyed by modern reinventions of it?
Well, I think there's always going to be a market. There's always going to be an audience for James Bond if those films are made the correct way. I mean, you've got a perfect blueprint. If you look at the Bond films in the 60s, and you follow that as a blueprint, you can't go wrong, because most of them are based on Ian Fleming, and it's the best Bond films are the ones that are based on Fleming's books quite closely.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers in the company of Dawn Neeson and Christopher Biggins this morning. And Dawn, let's start with this story in the Daily Mail, shall we? A hotel that has refused £1 million to take asylum seekers has had to shut its doors.
Yeah, it's a really sad story, but fair play to this couple. There's a couple called Richard and Sherry Martin. They're were owners of the Blazing Donkey Country Hotel near Sandwich in Kent, which is ironically just along the coast from where many of these small boat migrants are landing. Mr. Martins revealed that in 2022 he was offered over £1 million and a guarantee of full occupancy for a year at the 22-bedroom hotel. It's an award-winning hotel. And he turned it down because he didn't agree with housing migrants in hotels. I mean, subsequently, the hotel has been put into administration, mainly because...
That was a bad decision.
Well, I mean, the hotel was doing incredibly well. It's a wedding venue. It took loads of bookings. The reason I suspect that it's got into administration is because Mrs. Martin died recently, and they were struggling to keep things going with one of them. So I suspect that's the story behind that. But fair play to this hotel owner, and there are other hotel owners that have been on GB News and spoken about this as well.
Yeah, sorry, no, I thought you were going to elaborate on that as to what they can do about that. It also can ruin the hotel's reputation, because a lot of people, if it is quite a select hotel, a lot of people aren't going to want to stay in something that is housed, to 100% capacity illegal immigrants.
Exactly, Eamonn, and this is a hotel that houses hosts weddings and things like that as well. So it's just a very sad story of where we are, but fair play for someone in this country for standing up by their principles.
Yeah. Here's here's somebody, I don't know if they're standing up for principles or not, Sir Sadiq Khan. This is the front page of the Daily Express. Khan must quit over grooming failure. So a whistleblower has revealed the horrific extent of the rape gangs in London. So we know about these rape gangs in the northeast of England and the northwest of England, but this guy's saying, forget that, that's nothing to what's going on in London. And he says that, he says children aged 9 to 14 are trafficked for prostitution on an industrial scale. And so questions and dissent about this are challenged at the highest level. They're shut down at that.
It's always, I don't know about you, Biggins, but I've always found it very curious that we have Rochdale, we have Rotherham, we have, various, Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
We have various places around the country that have these horrific problems where young girls are being raped and abused on a wholesale basis. But nothing in London.
But it is,
I mean, what are the chances?
It's huge in London.
There's no chances.
It's really big. I mean, it's a big, serious problem.
Yeah, Charlie Peters in his work has identified over 50 locations in the country where this is most likely taking place.
So it has to be happening in London, but no one talks about it, and certainly our mayor doesn't talk about it.
The investigation editor, Zach Garner, in The Express says by calling these stories false, Sadiq Khan is also calling the victims liars. That should never stand.
I'm sorry that if you're calling young girls who are talking about some of the most horrific incidents of abuse that I've in 40 years of journalism I've ever heard, liars. It's about the former MP Lucy Powell calling any discussion about this as racist dog whistle. I'm sorry, that is just...
You know what gets me, though, in this country? There's certain things that people don't care about. They can't be bothered. They can't be bothered about this child abuse that goes on. And I just think it's the single most important thing. Something should be done about it. I also went last week to this experimentation camp in Cambridgeshire, which experiments on beagles, puts bleach in their eyes and disinfectant down their throat to see what effect they would have on human beings. And who cares? Nobody cares except for the 30 people who are outside on it. And why there are certain things we turn a blind eye to?
Well, I think we're frightened to admit it to ourselves and to our families. These things are going on. Of course, London is a hugely cosmopolitan city, and so they come in here, and it's easy.
Is that a word, cosmopolitan, there, Dawn, that maybe Sadiq Khan is quite frightened of when it comes to a vote?
Yes, absolutely, very much so. I think with Sadiq Khan, he is very, very aware of it upsetting certain members of the community in London, so treads a very fine line. But, in doing so, pushing, let's be honest here, white working class girls, these are the groups no one cares about. Yeah, I mean, they've been described as white trash by politicians.
Just awful.
I mean, it's just appalling. These are young girls who have been abused in the most horrific way, and it's just... We need to get to the bottom of this, and it is happening in London, and as soon as Sadiq Khan stops playing politics with young girls' lives, the better.
Yeah, here.
The person for Sadiq Khan said these accusations are false, malicious and politically motivated. The mayor is committed to doing everything to build a safer London for women and girls.
I'll just repeat again, by calling these stories false, he's also calling the victims liars.
Can I just say, making London safe for women and girls, there is one rape every hour in London. 24 rapes a day in this city. What's being done about that?
Nothing.
No man overboard, Dawn. Saying man overboard is offensive.
Oh, don't even. Honestly, bang your head against a brick wall on this one. Yeah, this is the Royal Yachting Association have issued a new language guide to honour and value women and non-binary people in sport. It says, while man overboard can be used if someone falls into the water and you need to save their lives, it shouldn't be used in other situations. Basically, we can't use the word man because it's offensive. If you're a woman or you're non-binary or you're transgender, it's like, if someone's saving my life, if I fall, I don't care what you call me.
What you meant to say instead?
Person in the water. I find that offensive. Person in water.
Well, it's offensive to water.
Yes, I do. I mean, I think it's ridiculous,
It's just...
I think if someone actually is overboard, there's a matter of urgency, isn't it? Man overboard.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what it means straight away. And we spend time discussing stuff like this because people are obsessing about who's going to be offended by what hurty words. Meanwhile, back to that story you pointed out so rightly in the Express, Eamonn, young girls are getting raped on a wholesale basis. Yeah.
I wonder what you'd call those two people who went into the canal in Venice. That's persons.
Right, so this is in the Times here. Yeah, that's just stupid, isn't it? So a tourist pair have been fined €450 for leaping into the canal in Venice.
Why would you want to leap?
Have you been Biggins?
Have been, and it's the last place you want to jump into. It's disgusting. It's beautiful. Venice is beautiful. Gorgeous city and absolutely fantastic. But when you get in, obviously there are lots of boats there, and you're terrified of slipping, of falling in. But I love the fact that they banned this couple for 48 hours from going back into Venice. You know.
And charged €450 fine.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
Think again, won't they?
But I'm sorry, I've been to Venice and some of the stuff floating around that water, I'm not getting in there. I'm not getting in there.
Tell me this, I've never been, but does it smell?
Yes.
It can in the hot weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you wouldn't put me off going?
Oh, no.
Stunning.
I mean, I've been when the floods have happened and you have to walk on boards which are put in place, which I wouldn't recommend you do because that's quite frightening. But and also to go during the festivals when they have all the kids dress up and go to school. The carnival is just fantastic.
However, it is hideously crowded. It really is
very
busy.
expensive as well.
Absolutely.
Dawn, good news if you live in the Wirral Council are lifting a ban on what?
I love this story. Sounding a noisy trumpet, wantonly singing, or what was the other? Oh, beating
carpets.
Yeah, this is along a stretch of the
They've looked at the rule book and they've seen all these things could get you in trouble and they've decided to scrap them.
It's a 90-year-old bylaw, and it's just a snapshot of a bygone period of time where we did these things. I mean, wantonly singing, I know, Biggins, you do that most mornings. Yeah. But, you know, playing a trumpet or beating... I mean, who beats carpets these days?
Oh, I do all the time.
You know what? I did that just yesterday.
Why am I not surprised?
I did. I pulled my rug out and I gave it a good beating.
Your what? Your rug?
Yeah, my rug.
She was frustrated with her husband. Don't go there, Biggins. But, yeah, I mean, it's nice. And if you've been cycling... This is a 3.7-mile stretch of coastline in Merseyside, obviously, and it's like, no, you can now cycle along it.
Well, that's the place to go, the Wirral coastline there. Thank you very much indeed, Dawn and Christopher. Really appreciate having you around today. Thank you.
Been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let us know what you think on any of those stories. gbnews.com/your say. Let's get a check on the weather now, shall we? Because I think it's a bit windy and a bit wet today. Sorry. Here's Catherine Chalk.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to a GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M25 clockwise at junction 3, a collision has closed all lanes, expected to resolve by 12:12 this afternoon. Delays exist between junctions 24 and 25 due to a tyre change with one lane closed. An incident on the M53 northbound has one lane closed, expected to clear between 9:45 and 10. Gloucestershire's M5 southbound has one lane closed between junctions 11A and 12, with normal service expected soon. On the trains, cross-country services face disruption between Nuneaton and Hinckley, and East Midlands Railway has issues between Derby and Stoke-on-Trent. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It's our biggest Great British giveaway to date. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas and has all of the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure that any adventures you take in your new motorhome are taken in style. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Growing fears the Prime Minister's days are numbered.
As backbench MPs threaten to revolt over a Lord Mandelson scandal.
But with President Trump's state visit imminent, can the Prime Minister use it to save his leadership? Here's what the Shadow Chancellor to the Duchy of Lancaster had to say.
Last week, we were calling on the government to just come clean about what had happened with the whole Mandelson affair so that it didn't overshadow this visit.
Yes, just a year after winning a landslide majority, Keir Starmer is now struggling to hold on to the premiership. Could President Donald Trump be his unlikely saviour? Find out more with me very soon.
The first Channel migrants are set to be returned to France this week under Keir Starmer's one-in, one-out deal. But could an 11th-hour legal intervention throw a spanner in the works?
Are we living through a golden age for nuclear? Well, the UK and the US agree a landmark deal to fast-track a new generation of small nuclear power stations.
calls for schools to teach pupils about the Battle of Britain 85 years on, and a shocking new poll reveals 2 out of 3 under 40s don't know what that is.
The prime suspect in Madeleine McCann's disappearance is reportedly refusing to let Scotland Yard detectives interview him. That's just days before he's set to be released from prison in Germany.
The Emmy Awards lit up Los Angeles last night, celebrating the best of television. Find out which British teenager has made history.
Well, it's a windy start to the new working week, especially across England and Wales, where there is a Met Office warning in force. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Hello there, very good morning to you. On this Monday morning, I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Now to our top story this morning, and the Prime Minister is said to be clinging onto his premiership following the Lord Mandelson scandal.
Well, Keir Starmer is reportedly pinning all his hopes on Donald Trump's state visit going off without a hitch. The American president is set to arrive tomorrow and could provide just the distraction the Prime Minister needs to ward off the threat of a backbench rebellion.
Well, let's speak now to GB News political correspondent Olivia Utley. Good to see you this morning, Olivia. Will this be the distraction that the Prime Minister needs, or could this potentially be very awkward?
Well, it's a really interesting one. We were just talking about this. So, on the one hand, there is a chance that this state visit could be just the distraction that the Prime Minister needs, because Donald Trump actually, surprisingly, rather likes Keir Starmer. I can't think of 2 more different personalities in politics, but in an unlikely twist of fate, they do seem to quite like each other. Donald Trump considers Keir Starmer a winner. He considers himself a winner, his words, of course. And so it's possible that a friendly relationship between them, potentially agreeing this deal over nuclear reactors, could mean that the attention is diverted away from Lord Mandelson. That said, the problem with Lord Mandelson was this link to Jeffrey Epstein, and of course Donald Trump himself has links to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the Prime Minister has been at pains to make clear that the link between Mandelson and Epstein is very different to Trump and Epstein, because whereas Trump seemed to cut all ties with him, obviously we don't know all of the details yet, but Trump appeared to cut all ties with him once he was convicted as a paedophile. Mandelson carried on this friendship with Epstein after he was convicted and imprisoned for paedophilia. So there is a difference there. But of course, it will be very, very difficult for Keir Starmer to kind of tread that line between having to be very firm on Mandelson had to go, distancing himself as far as possible from Peter Mandelson, whilst also remaining in Trump's good books. I would love to be at the press conference with the Prime Minister and the President, where the Prime Minister has to answer questions about whether people who have ever had a link with Jeffrey Epstein should be anywhere near politics. So I think there are quite a few landmines sort of waiting for the Prime Minister, and his position has never really looked more precarious. In just a number of weeks, he stood by Angela Rayner when most of the country knew that she was going to have to go eventually, and he's now stood by Peter Mandelson when, again, most of the country knew that he was going to have to go. Lots of his MPs now think not only he's a weak Prime Minister who doesn't have the sort of guts to act, but also that he doesn't sort of have that political instinct, which is obviously so necessary to be in the top job. And some of them are beginning to whisper quietly that perhaps they should transfer their loyalty over to Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester, who is definitely on manoeuvres.
Yes, so tell us a bit more about that. And is he one to watch? Do you think he could be a threat to Keir Starmer?
He's very, very popular amongst the rank and file of the Labour Party, and he's done pretty well. He made a sensible decision, in my opinion, in removing himself from the cabinet, removing himself from anywhere near the Parliamentary Labour Party and becoming Manchester Mayor. He gets a good profile there, and it's also a much easier job than any job that he might have had in the cabinet. He started this think tank called Mainstream, which lots of Labour activists and members seem to be quite interested in. He's to the left of Keir Starmer, which most Labour Party members and MPs are to the left of Keir Starmer, so that bodes pretty well for him. He's a pretty good media performer, and it looks as though he's teaming up. He's thrown his weight behind Lucy Powell, who is running for deputy leader of the Labour Party. So if they work as a team, they could prove a pretty big threat to Keir Starmer. The thing about Andy Burnham is there are actually quite sort of practical hurdles that he would need to climb over before becoming leader of the Labour Party. He is mayor of Manchester. He has pledged to stay in the job until 2028. So it might not be a very good look, might not be a very good look to the people of Manchester if he chose to step down before that. And perhaps more importantly, he's not actually a member of the Parliamentary Labour Party. He would have to win a seat in a by-election. And at the moment, it looks as though there's almost no by-election in the country that Labour would be able to win. That's how far ahead Reform is in the polls.
In terms of this Lord Mandelson saga, do you think this is something that the Prime Minister can get over? Or, as the front page of the Times is reporting this morning, Labour MPs saying that he's drinking in Last Chance Saloon?
Well, it's really tricky. I think over the course of the week it'll become clear exactly what evidence, and this is what the Conservatives are calling for at the moment, what evidence Keir Starmer knew about Lord Mandelson and when he knew it. Because there are questions, firstly, about how he got the job in the first place. Morgan McSweeney, who's very senior in Number 10, decided to hire Lord Mandelson when obviously there were questions over his relationship. But more personally for Keir Starmer, on Tuesday, the Cabinet Office handed over details to Number 10, this cache of emails from Mandelson to Epstein and back again. Really, really damning evidence. That was given to the Number 10 on Tuesday morning. On Thursday, Keir Starmer managed to sack Lord Mandelson. But in the meantime, on Wednesday, he came out and defended him at PMQs. Labour MPs are going to need answers to that, and I think that will decide Keir Starmer's fate.
Well, let's see if we can get some answers to some of those questions you've posed, Olivia. We go to College Green now. Baroness Jackie Smith, the Minister of State for Skills, is there waiting for us. We say, Jackie, good morning to you.
Morning.
I hope you heard us talking there and debating about the Donald Trump visit and the timing of it. Is it good timing for Keir Starmer in the fact that it takes a lot of the attention away from people asking Mandelson questions?
Sorry, I'm really sorry, Eamon. I didn't hear the first part of your question.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear her.
Amy was asking about the timing of the US state visit and if this is going to be good timing for the Prime Minister in terms of questions about Lord Mandelson. Can you hear my question? No, I think she's struggling to connect with us. We'll have a look. We'll have a look into that, and we'll try and return to Baroness Jackie Smith. In the meantime, let's tell you about the Great British Giveaway now. Your chance to be our biggest winner to date, with a prize package worth over £104,000.
And hopefully it all comes together better than our sound. Here we are.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof light, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Olivia, can you see a situation, just while we wait for Jackie Smith and establishing lines with her again, do you see a situation where you'll literally get journalists lining up and firing Mandelson questions at Trump?
well, if I was going to be in the room, I wish I was, don't think I will be, then that is what I would ask. It will put Keir Starmer really, really on the spot. It is such a thin line that he has to walk here. He has to make it look as though he is friends with Donald Trump and that he doesn't have a problem with Trump's relationship with Epstein, but make clear that he does have a problem of Peter Mandelset's relationship with Epstein. So I think what Donald Trump, what Keir Starmer tried to do is hold on to Peter Mandelson for as long as possible, even when it was so obvious that he had to go politically. He tried to hold on to him because he thought it would be worse not to have a US ambassador in place for this huge state visit next week. But actually what he's done is far, far worse. He has sort of got the worst of both worlds. He's let this situation get so out of control that he's made himself really, really vulnerable to questions about Mandelson, Epstein and Trump. And on the other hand, he also doesn't have a US ambassador in place for the state visit. So it couldn't really be more awkward for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, and even the fact that we don't have, well, a foreign minister has only been in the post a matter of days by the time the US state visit comes around.
Well, exactly. And the relationship between David Lammy, the former Foreign Secretary, and both J.D. Vance and the President was a really good one. And that had been built over the course of a year and a half. Now, Yvette Cooper has just taken up the role. Obviously, she's a very, very experienced politician. But by the sounds of it, from what we were hearing behind the scenes about the reshuffle, Keir Starmer kind of wanted to get rid of Yvette Cooper. She thought she wasn't doing a particularly good job in the Home Office. But instead, he shunted her over to the Foreign Office so as not to annoy her. And so she's sort of, in a way, failed upwards, if you like, and that is perhaps not the politician who you want to be overseeing this very important state visit. What Keir Starmer is hoping is that all of that will be forgotten when this deal about nuclear reactors is announced. And of course, that deal is fantastic for the economy, but it's not what interests ordinary people.
OK, Olivia, thank you very much.
So we're not going to the Baroness, no. Right, we're going to go. We've got communications problems here, and Baroness Jackie Smith, we are hoping to come to her very shortly. But up next, we're going to be talking about the Battle of Britain.
Yes, 85 years today since the Battle of Britain, and a shocking new poll has revealed 2 in 3 people under 40 don't even know what it was. Well, we're going to be playing our part in righting that wrong here on GB News next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
So here we are. This is the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and events are going to be scheduled to take place all around the country, though I would expect they may well be disrupted today because it is quite blustery.
So windy.
Wind-wise, yeah, that's a bad thing.
Yellow wind. Weather warning across the country.
So anyway, what will happen, what won't? Well, we're across things right now because on this day in 1940, the Luftwaffe launched its largest and most concentrated attack against London, which I think was called Operation Sea Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was repelled by the RAF and marked a turning point in the war.
Well, let's speak now to our national reporter, Jack Carson. Very good morning to you, Jack.
Is that Jack?
Well, very good morning. Very good morning. Very good morning to you. You've caught me mid-flight. We're in the Hangar 42, and I have really got into the spirit. Of course, 85 years ago today, the war really started to turn in Britain's favour with Battle of Britain Day, as what we are commemorating today. And I've got dressed up as a pilot, sitting in an actual real-life Spitfire. This is not just a simulator. This is a real-life Spitfire that's been kitted out to do simulations here at the Spitfire Centre in Blackpool. John Puttock joins us now. You're the engineering lead here, and this is quite a fancy bit of kit, and really, I guess, you know, lets people experience what those pilots would have done 85 years ago today.
Absolutely. This aeroplane, you know, is part of the hangar display here at Blackpool, and Andy Harper, our specialist, actually put this aeroplane together and has enabled it to act and behave exactly like a real aircraft would. And you know, it's available to the public to come up and have a go and see if they can fly a Spitfire.
And tell us about the significance of this aircraft 85 years ago today, the Battle of Britain. Things start to turn in Britain's favour.
Absolutely. This is a Mark V Spitfire. Early days they were using the Mark II, and that aircraft had 8 Browning machine guns, firing 303 bullets. This Mark V actually incorporated some 20mm Hispano cannons, and so gave the aircraft a lot more punch and enabled it to be more successful.
And I've got all of this gear on. A lot of it is kind of fur and real thermal stuff. That's because the temperature up there at the height, at the altitude that they were flying, was absolutely freezing.
Absolutely. I mean, the higher you go, then obviously the colder it gets. But if you're at around about 25,000 feet, you're going to be experiencing temperatures of between -25 and 30. There is no heating in the aircraft, so from that point of view, the only way you're going to stay warm is to dress for it. So, as the Queen once said, there's no such thing as the wrong weather, it's just the wrong clothing. You're sat there, your movement will be restricted by the fact that you've got all this clothing on, but if you didn't have that on, you would soon freeze to death.
So how incredible then were these pilots to not only obviously be wearing all this kit, it's a tight squeeze as it is, so to wearing all this kit, but then actually having to face the Luftwaffe, having to face those Messerschmitts flying over British skies. That was a real difficult job.
Absolutely, when you consider the fact that most pilots were aged between 19 and 21, and very young men, but carried out their duties spectacularly. Had we not been successful in the Battle of Britain, then the world would be a totally different place today.
And the polling out today showing that 2/3 of adults under 40 don't even sometimes know what the Battle of Britain is. But to come here, I guess, and experience something like this, it's all about education, whether it's an older generation, whether it's a younger generation. So much is about education.
Absolutely. And as John, our leader, said earlier on, we do educational tours. We take a lot of school children in. I think we do around about 60 of the schools that are in the local location, Manchester, down further south, come here and they will learn about the Battle of Britain. And we aim at the hangar to keep those memories alive.
All right, John, thank you so much for joining us. Just hearing there, amazing what these pilots had to go through, the kind of equipment and the gear that they had to operate and wear. It is quite incredible to think of the job and the task that they were faced with 85 years ago and how successful they were. But if you don't mind me, I've got to go back to defending the skies.
And do you know what, Jack? The thing that amazes me is the average age of those pilots. We're talking about 19 or 20 years of age.
Well, quite, and that's you kind of think people leave school at that age now. At that age, 85 years ago, they were jumping into Spitfires, training in places here like Blackpool, ready to go and fight the Luftwaffe. And not only the skill that would require, but also the bravery to go up into the skies where they might not have ever been before and take on, and conduct those dogfights that are so famous in the Battle of Britain. Quite incredible to think that they were able to do that.
Yeah, it is so brave, so courageous, and as you say, gave us the freedom to live the life that we have today. Jack Carson, thank you very much.
Well, from 9:30, it's Andrew and Miriam, and here they are to give you a brief taster of what's coming up. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. What have you got for us?
Well, big day politically. We've got a Nigel Farage press conference at 11. They're saying it's a major announcement. Is it another big defector?
Well, we'll be live on air to bring that to you, and an interview with Kemi Badenoch afterwards. Okay. But we're also looking at this question, should the police carry guns? And of course, always in Britain we've said, no, we shouldn't go down that route. Lots of our European neighbours do. But we'll be asking, actually, is it time? Do the police face such a big threat that they really...
What a load of nonsense. I mean, you do it in the UK. Every police officer in Northern Ireland carries a firearm, and there's nothing said about it, nothing done about it. And does it affect our lives? No, it doesn't.
And do people still trust the police?
Of course they do. It just means the bad guys get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a bad thing.
Well, I'm in favour, but I think Andrew...
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sort of wobbling. And have been for a long time. I would make sure every police officer, for instance, had a taser for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's
would you want to do the job without a taser? Because I wouldn't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, they should have one.
Do police officers want to carry guns? I mean, there's a responsibility of then if you shoot someone, it ends up in court.
Well, of course, that's the problem with this, with our system. Look at the copper who was got off, but he's had to go into hiding. I know.
Yeah. And after that, they saw a massive decline in the number of police officers applying for the firearms training. So even if we did allow them to carry guns, would they actually want to?
Because of our crazy laws. So
that's a good question.
So we've got that.
And of course, I think it's ridiculous. What are you asking them for? You just tell them. Part of your job's to carry a gun.
We police by consent in this country.
I don't care if they want to. That's what you're doing. That's the job.
And of course, Starman will appear today. He's making a major speech ahead of the state visit. He will be asked specific questions about the continuing fallout from Lord Mandelson, which has not gone away by any...
Right, not going away. Guys, thank you very much indeed. Have a good show.
We will.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to get some weather.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to strong winds today. There is a Met Office wind warning in force across England and Wales. Heavy showers with the best of any sunshine across the south. So like I said, there is a wind warning in force. Gusts of up to 60 to 70 miles per hour is possible. We'll hold on to frequent showers across Northern Ireland, Northern England, into Wales as well, merging to give longer spells of rain. Likewise for parts of Scotland, but it's the south of England that holds on to some sunny spells, but blustery showers rattling their way through. Highs here of 18 to 19 degrees, but feeling rather cool in any heavy downpours and with the strong winds. So through Monday evening, there'll be some late evening sunny spells across the northern half of Scotland, but still holding on to some showers here. Likewise, it's a similar story elsewhere. Showers, especially across Northern Ireland and northern parts of England. Some of these could be heavy with the odd rumble of thunder as well. And we still hold on to those strong winds, gusts of 45 to 55 miles per hour, but they'll generally start easing as we go through Monday night as the area of low pressure tracks its way eastwards. The focus for the showers overnight into Tuesday then across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and sinking their way southwards. Either side of that holding on to clear skies, but otherwise temperatures generally ranging from 9 to 13 degrees to start Tuesday. So Tuesday promises a brighter start for many of us, especially across Scotland and southern parts of England. We still hold on to a few showers, especially across northern parts of England, perhaps even a few bubbling up across parts of Wales, but otherwise lighter winds, a bit more of a calmer day out there before sunshine turns hazy from the west. Highs up to 18 or 19 degrees. Bye-bye.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. A collision on the M25 in Kent has closed the clockwise entry slip at Junction 3. In Northamptonshire, the A14 westbound is partially closed between junctions 11 and 10 due to a collision. The M53 northbound on the Wirral is down to one lane between junctions 2 and 1. One lane is closed on Gloucestershire's M5 southbound between junctions 11A and 12. Traffic is slow with congestion southbound at junction 14 on the M1 in Milton Keynes. And on the trains, there is disruption on Chiltern Railways between Barely and Stratford-upon-Avon and cross-country services from Nuneaton to Hinckley. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
There's a big change in the age of parents, so first-time parents are getting older and older. There's been a significant increase in the number of men over 60 becoming fathers, a 15% increase in just 1 year, and an increase in the number of babies born to foreign parents. But what's really, really concerning is that what's called the total fertility rate, that's the average number of babies that each woman has over her childbearing life, has gone down again, and it's now at a record low, just 1.41 children on average per woman, and of course we need about 2.1 to have a stable population. Now, a lot of people think, well, why don't we want the population to decline? We've been warning about burgeoning population for 50, 60 years now, but I think the really important factor to consider here is it's not really the overall size of the population that matters so much as the proportion of young to old, because that is what we need in order to have enough people working, enough people paying taxes to support people who are retired, to support people who are sick. And that is going down and down and down with huge economic consequences.
Do the figures divide it so that they can say whether the children are of African heritage or of this or of that? Does it tell you those sorts of statistics as well? And if so, what are the... What are they?
Yes, so we know the nationality of mothers who give birth, and in terms of foreign mothers, the greatest number of babies are born to women of Indian and Pakistani heritage. So they are the biggest numbers, the biggest nationalities. But I think what's really important to note is that even with the huge and unpopular levels of immigration that we've had, even with those levels, the birth rate is still falling and the ratio of young to old is still going down.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good morning. It's 9:30 on Monday, the 15th of September, live across the UK, Britain's newsroom with Andrew Pearce and Miriam Cates.
Well, the first return flights to France for migrants who illegally cross the Channel are expected to take off this week. Will it be au revoir?
Well, there's likely to be a slew of legal challenges, but the government will be hoping that at least some of these migrants will be returned this week. But 5,500 have arrived since this deal came into being.
And is the government in crisis? It certainly feels like it. Backbench Labour MPs warning Sir Keir Starmer he's in the last chance saloon. They're rallying around the banner of the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
And sticking with the Prime Minister, he says the UK will not surrender its flag to those who use it as a symbol of fear and division, after more than 150,000 people gathered in London to champion British culture at Tommy Robinson's Freedom of Speech rally this weekend.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
The familiar tones of Winston Churchill as the UK marks the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Britain today, as a new poll reveals, shockingly, 2 in 3 under 40s don't know what it is.
And the world continues to pay tribute to one of the greatest British boxers of all time, Ricky the Hitman Hatton, who has sadly died aged 46.
And should the police be armed? An internal review recommends all frontline Metropolitan Police officers should have guns to tackle knife crime. Find out why that call has been rejected.
And this morning, we're expecting a major announcement from Reform UK leader Nigel Farage. Don't miss it. We'll bring it live to you.